Today, we'll be talking about why I'm so sleep deprived that I'm basically mildly intoxicated. We'll also be talking about yes, we issued a correction to one of our videos this week. The whole process was very efficient and made a ton of sense.
Yeah. Also, the EU says that Apple can make a portless iPhone, and is Steam coming to Xbox?
Really, that's what you picked?
That's weird.
Portless iPhone and Xbox Steam.
Yeah, what would you do?
I don't know. Sublimated iPhone and portless Xbox. It's going to be a show today.
Oh.
I'm powerless.
The show is brought to you today by Squarespace, Vessi, and Thorum. Wait, what? What is this Jerky doing here then? It's also brought to you by our wrap partner, D-Brand.
Laptop partner Dell.
Yes, our laptop partner Dell and our chair partner Secret Lab.
They won't tell me why the Jerky's here.
And then, we genuinely have no idea why that's there.
It's because we're the boys. And we make prank calls. I don't know. It doesn't matter. That was a thing in like the early 2000s. You kicked my dog.
Okay, I remember the prank calls, but what does that have to do with Jerky?
Because you're jerks.
Just because we're jerks?
No, that's what they were called, the Jerky Boys.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Okay.
Does that warrant a bell?
I don't think so.
Wait, you get one of these.
Look, I've slept like 5 hours in the last 2 days. And I made the extremely poor choices move of having a nap like an hour and a half ago. And so I just got back from at least 3 countries. Singapore, I think, is a country, right?
Yeah.
In Civ, it's a city-state. Are they countries? Or
I love geographical knowledge coming from Civ.
Well, that's the only place I get it after school. And I had a literally useless social studies teacher. So I'm just going based on what Mr. Sid Meier, Professor Meier taught me.
It's a country.
Wonderful. Then I was just in 3 countries. This was probably the most hectic vacation that I've ever been on. It was much harder work than being in office. I'm actually extremely grateful to be back at work. You know how long we were gone. We were gone for, I think, 12 days or something like that. We stayed in 6 different hotels.
Whoa.
And I was there with the whole, the whole family. Like my nuclear family, my sister-in-law and like her kids and everything, and my in-laws. So my wife's parents and my sister-in-law's parents.
It's a lot of people.
My children's grandparents.
Between hotels every 2 days.
And there was a lot of like family reunioning and, stuff. And there was a lot of, my wife is a bit of a type A. And so a lot of like, okay, today we're hitting the bird sanctuary, and then we're going to hit the something. Anyway, the point is that I'm going to try to tell you everywhere that I stayed, and I will probably get it wrong.
Got it.
I already forget, but we definitely started. No, stop. We started in Bali. So we started in Indonesia, and that was cool. I don't know. Maybe next week I'll show you guys some pictures or something. It'll be pretty cool.
Oh, those were awesome, actually.
Yeah,
the place looked sweet.
Yeah, the bird sanctuary seemed super cool.
Yeah.
We were in Bali, and then we went to Malaysia. First to Port Dickson. That's right. And then we went to Kuala Lumpur, and then we went to Singapore, and then we came to home. And the reason that I didn't kind of address it on WAN Show last week is I would strongly prefer, when we're on vacation, to kind of tell you guys that once I'm back. But I didn't really get an opportunity to not have people know that I was on vacation overseas with my family because it blew up on r/Malaysia.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess why don't I talk about the tech mall that I went to? I have now completed more than a trifecta of sick Asian tech malls. So I've been to, and I'm going to butcher this. It's like Hua Huang Bay or something like that. I could have looked up what it was called again before the show. In fact, I may have, but I wouldn't remember it if I did. So whatever. The one that's in, oh crap! Wow, my brain is so bad. The Chinese tech hub.
Shenzhen?
Yes, thank you, Shenzhen. So I went to that one with Scotty from Strange Parts. That was really cool. I went to Sim Lim Square in Singapore like 9 years ago. The last time I went and visited Yvonne's family in Southeast Asia. I went to that sick tech mall in Taipei last time I was there in Taiwan last year. And then now I've been to Plaza Lo Yat. I just remember that I was trying not to gain weight on this trip. And so I'm like, oh yeah. So I picked the low Yat Plaza. So that, like low fat.
I thought you were referencing no Gyat.
Speaking of fat, is that a thing?
Sort of.
No Gyat?
Gyat means like butt.
I know what that means.
So
Is you after?
Like
yeah.
Okay. Anyway, the point is Plaza Lo Yat. Super cool. Shout out the guys at the top of the escalators that like try and make sure if you want to buy a laptop. Do you want to buy a laptop? Everyone else was super cool.
That's so aggressive.
Oh, dude, they're like, what are the odds I'm here for a laptop?
Especially that one.
There's literally everything in this place.
You probably want to like browse a little bit.
Yeah. No, dude, they're crazy. Yeah, but other than that, man, it was super cool. The reason that I went there was not to make a video because I was on vacation, but I happened to have one of our little audio recorder things with me because Elijah needed a clip of me on a beach. And I was like, well, what better place to get that than when I'm on the beach in... I guess that was in Bali when I recorded that one, I think. I don't know, the whole thing's kind of a blur, to be honest with you. So anyway, I had one of my little audio recorders, and like I'm dailying an iPhone, so I just gave Yvonne my iPhone, and we... that's not the part of the story I was on yet. So the reason I decided to make a video was because I needed a micro HDMI cable. I made the same mistake that I have made previously, bringing my ROG portable display for the plane to kind of set up in the middle so the kids can play games. And it takes a micro HDMI input or a Type-C input, but because I have a first generation Ally and also a switch, there's no way on either of those devices to charge that device while also outputting Type-C to the display. I couldn't output from the switch at all because I forgot a micro HDMI adapter cable, and I didn't bring an HDMI cable at all because I assumed that my hotel rooms would have HDMI cables between whatever streaming box and the TV, which actually only half of them did. So midway through the trip, I'm like, okay, I'm getting a bloody HDMI cable and I'm getting that micro HDMI adapter so that we can hook the display up to the switch, or I can power my display and output from the Ally at the same time because the first gen Ally only has one Type-C. So on the new Ally, you'd be able to just output to the display, power the display like that, and then plug in the power to the Ally, and then you could have continuous power delivery all the way through. I think, because... I don't know, that display is kind of funky because I tried to power it and then also USB-C output into it, and then my Ally started going like it was getting into like charging mode all the time, and then I had my phone plugged into it and I was running my finger along the side of it and it was like a weird feeling. I don't know, maybe my charger wasn't grounded properly or something like that. Anyway, the point is I needed a cable. And what better place to go than, it turns out, the huge tech mall that was literally a 7-minute walk from my hotel. So I went there and I was like, well, this will be really simple. I'll just find a cable. I was like, okay, well, probably not just any shop. Okay, I'll go into like a camera shop because I need micro HDMI, and some cameras use that awful standard just for space savings. And I went into one and they were like, oh, that'll be $40. And I was like, oh, okay, you mean like
local currency,
like Malaysian ringgit or whatever. And they're like, oh, no, 40 US dollars. And I was like, excuse me, for a micro HDMI cable?
No.
You have got to be kidding me right now. Like, you can get adapters for like $2 and then like a cable for, $5 to $10. And that doesn't mean I expect to pay that at retail. Obviously, there's a convenience tax, but that was clearly a foreigner tax. And no, thank you. So I kind of poked around and went on to a different floor and finally found a place that was basically like AliExpress, but in retail store. Like, they just had, box of bulk cables here, box of other more different bulk cables there. And it was great. It was like the bulk candy aisle section at the supermarket, but for tech. And then I found these other really cool stores. And then I noticed that so many of the shops had like 50 series in stock.
Oh.
Even like 5090s, 5070 Ti's, like actually like good ones. Pricing was, well, you know what? I'll save it for the video, but pricing was not what you would expect. Whatever you were expecting, probably it wasn't it. But like, dude, seriously, there were more 50 series and AMD 9000 series cards in stock in that tech mall than I could probably find scouring the entire North American e-tail like online inventory. Like, I kid you not, every single little hole in the wall shop had probably 3 to 10 50 series cards and like a handful of 9000 series.
You know what could be? I don't know if it's worthy of a full format video, but it could be kind of interesting at Computex. Like, can you find GPUs in Taiwan?
Yeah,
because you can't find them in the States right now.
You almost certainly could.
I bet you can.
So anyway, I talk a little bit about what the market dynamics that might be at play here are. One thing that I don't really touch on because it's like unscripted and I'm just kind of walking around shooting little clips when I think of it, and I didn't really think about it at the time. Is that it could be strategic. It could be that if I'm giving the benefit of the doubt to NVIDIA and their board partners, sending a couple of GPUs to each of all of these retail shops limits the ability of someone like a miner or an AI farm or whatever to buy in bulk. It maximizes the opportunity for an individual gamer to go in and just buy a card and take it home.
This is a big benefit of the doubt.
But that's a huge benefit of the doubt thing. So I legitimately don't know. I don't know how it is, and I'm serious. I'm talking like the bigger shops had them. The more like a Canada Computers or Memory Express or like a tiny Micro Center is probably the best way that I could describe them. Those guys had them, but especially it was the little like hole in the wall shops. You know what I mean by that, right? Like, you go by and it's basically a doorway, and then like that's it. It's like a long doorway,
it's
essentially.
Effectively a closet.
Yeah.
Just a big one.
Kind of like the one that I bought that super high-end gaming system from back when we did that Taiwan video. And they'll just have a bunch of them on the shelf. I'm like, yo, are those boxes? They're like, yeah. And I'm like, right, but like, are they just boxes? They're like, no, there's just stuff in them. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. Like, what? You got to be kidding me, right?
That is pretty wild.
Yeah, so then there was that, and then I was kind of going, well, okay, yeah, this is probably a video at this point, because then I also needed I wanted a Switch dock, but not like the big chunky first party dock, because I brought a dock with me. The
first party dock like actually sucks.
Yeah, I brought a dock with me, but it wasn't working, and I have 2 docks at home that I bought off like AliExpress or something, and one of them works and one of them doesn't, and I gambled and I lost. I brought the one that didn't work, and I don't know, it probably worked at some point, like it probably worked with the non-OLED version or something, I don't know, but the point is, I tried it on the trip, it wasn't working, I was like, crap, I grabbed the wrong one. So I also needed one of those, but I didn't want like the bulky first party dock, I wanted just like a little sleek cable style dock. And so when I was there just getting the cable or looking for the cable, I just didn't bother buying that, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna leave, and then I'll come back tomorrow with Yvonne and we'll make a video. It was actually really fun, but it completely blew my cover, because while I got in and out of there with like 2 selfies, the first day when I was just like kind of scouting it out and determining that, oh yeah, no, this is like definitely a video, I should just come back with Yvonne, the second time around. I think the r/Malaysia post has people replying to the top post with their own selfies. Like it was kind of hilarious. It was really fun. The vibe in there was really good. If you ever find yourself in KL, definitely stop by, whether you need to buy anything or not, because it's an experience.
Is this the one that you're talking about?
Oh, so that's the one that I ultimately got the decent deal on my micro HDMI and my HDMI cable from.
I just love the not a thief.
Okay, I have been given some context for this.
Well, I'm assuming security camera footage of a store.
Apparently, that's like a big thing in this mall, is people publicly shaming shoplifters with the security camera footage in their stores. So that guy got a completely different selfie with me that I don't think he posted. Instead, he went for the CCTV footage of me buying a cable.
And had to clarify that you weren't a thief.
But he was the owner or the manager of that store or something like that, and he did talk to me. He didn't talk to me about posting the selfie, but he did talk to me about taking it. And then he posted the CCTV footage. I'm glad he did say not a thief, because the kinds of assumptions people make about me these days, they may very well have gone there with it.
I would have thought you stole.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
Yep.
I actually ended up double buying. Because I bought the micro HDMI cable the first day, because that was like the first thing I did when I walked in, while I was still just buying a cable and not making a video. And then I was like, well,
now you're buying a cable for the video.
I don't know if anyone actually recognized me the first day, because I was pretty much in and out of the mall. So the second day I go back and I'm just like, okay, this is the one part of it that I have to do a quick little reenact of. And I was like, oh, well, I'm not going to like waste their time, like go in, like ask them questions again about where things are, and then like not buy their cable. So I bought the cable again. Anyway, the manager didn't talk to me till the end of the day, when I'd already gone all the way to the top of the mall and then come back. And he was trying to give me something, and I don't really like taking stuff. I mean, you've seen my conversations with people about swag. It's not even just like, it's not like an ethical thing. Like, I think that somehow I can be bought for $6 worth of chocolates or whatever. It's just that I actually just do not want more things. Like, I have this conversation with everyone, from friends to family to industry contacts, where I'm just like, look, I'm at a stage in my life where if I want something, I can buy it pretty much regardless of what it is. So if I don't own it, I promise you 100% it is because I don't want it.
Yeah. Is this the one you're talking about?
No.
No, okay.
No, that's just a completely different one.
Is it a different store even?
Yeah, I love the guy over my shoulder. I didn't even notice him when we were taking the picture.
I didn't see that the first time.
Oh, that's great. No, that's a completely different store.
Okay, yeah.
I no longer remember what I was talking about. So that's going to have to be kind of your job today, because I don't have RAM.
Keep it on track.
No. That's fine. Just if you do interrupt, which is totally fine, because taste of own medicine. Just, you're gonna have to tell me what I was talking about before.
So you had to buy the cable again.
Oh yeah, right.
You went upstairs, back downstairs.
So he came up to me after, and I was like, "Hey, so yeah, not only do I not want the thing you're offering me, but you can actually have this micro HDMI adapter and this HDMI cable back, because I really don't need it. I only needed the one." And he's like, "Oh no, I can give you a refund." I'm like, "No, that's too much work. No, I'll just buy the cable. Just don't worry about it. Thank you for having a reasonable price and not trying to charge me a white guy tax."
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was great. I don't actually remember what all I wanted to say about shopping at the tech mall, and this is my only notes in the doc, so
just in case you forget your own name.
Yeah, I thought about going back to Sim Lim Square, but then because we were in Singapore again, but I didn't have a reason. Like, that's what I kind of like about these videos, is other than the one, okay, half of them anyway, are me just needing something. And then the other ones, I have contrived some mission. Like in Shenzhen, I wanted to, build a PC, a gaming PC, and see if I could get a better deal in the like tech hub of China. So that was a legitimate objective, even if I didn't really need a computer. I don't even remember what we did with the computer. we give it away
in
or something?
China. I think you gave it to his editor or something.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Pretty sure.
Okay.
It's a long time ago, but
Yeah.
I think that's what happened.
And then in Taiwan, it was just inspired by like Jake's random picture of this like random nondescript shop that just for whatever reason had a ball and gaming PC. Turns out it's because they just like make ball and gaming PCs, so that's super cool. But then the one in Singapore was just because I was staying with people who had awful Wi-Fi and I just wanted to fix it. And then the one at Plaza Luyat was just because I forgot some
Needed
stuff
some
and I
cables.
like needed to check. Man, I wish we had places like that here. Like, is there anywhere that you could go in person where you could possibly hope to find a micro HDMI adapter that you can think of off the top of your head? It probably exists.
Memory Express might have one.
To be clear, maybe. You better check
Camera
the stock
store?
online before you go. Yeah, they might.
I wouldn't feel confident about it.
But
They might.
and an
Micro Center's not up
off-brand
here, guys.
and an off-brand switch adapter.
Oh, yeah. So,
Yeah, no shot.
so probably not.
No shot. And a 50 series.
Yeah.
Okay, now I just eliminated every retailer.
Staples? I don't think so.
Oh, that'd be a real long shot. But yeah, like that's the thing, man. It's so cool. It's like 6 stories, dude. It's like 6 floors of mostly just tech. The very bottom floor has like some jewelry and clothing, like booths and stuff, but also tech shops. And while there are definitely things about it that I think are a little weird, like they had more than one like HP branded store, like just a dedicated HP store. They had more than one like ROG branded store. And I'm kind of sitting here going, you know, is tech really Starbucks? You know, we're just the more, because you know about the Starbucks effect or whatever, right? Where if they put 2 Starbucks on like opposite corners at the same intersection, they don't cannibalize each other. They just like sell twice as many or whatever.
Somehow, yeah.
That cannot possibly work for laptops. Like a laptop is it's not an impulse purchase, right? Am I missing
Well, I
something
mean,
here?
maybe it is because there's those guys like flapping laptops in your face as you go up the escalator. So maybe people are just impulse buying laptops.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
Chat wants a not a thief shirt. That's actually brilliant. We should definitely do a not a thief
Genuinely
shirt.
pretty funny.
Okay. Dan, do you mind forwarding that over to the CW team, please?
Righto.
Should it be you in that security picture? I'm trying to bring it up again.
I'm sure you'll find it, and that will be.
It's
fast.
not that amazing. I mean, if it's a big zoom in,
I kind of look like a thief.
it's just that on a shirt.
Not a thief.
Not a thief shirt with a fake security tag still attached. That's kind of funny.
Oh man. Oh man. Yeah, we could even just like print a little like one of those like old school like bar style ones or something like that. That'd be pretty funny. Why don't we move on to our next topic? Dan, you're going to have to be like on the little paper things today because
Absolutely.
I have no idea what's going on. I don't
And,
even know why there's jerky on my table.
You're allowed to eat it. You can eat the jerky.
I'm allowed to eat the jerky.
Absolutely.
Okay, my stomach is actually feeling a little unsettled right now, so I might have to eat jerky a little bit later. My body has no idea what's going on.
3 different countries.
Yeah, I dude.
with airplane food thrown in the mix.
No, actually, I didn't eat at all on the flight, and it's like 13 hours. Then I got home and I ate pretty light because I was feeling a little unsettled, and I think it's because of what I ate right before I got on the flight. I had a Subway sandwich, which normally I'm fine with. I like Happy Gilmore. The trailer for Happy Gilmore 2 looks fucking awful, like completely soulless, but you know, Happy told me that the delicious cold cut honestly, better spokesman than Jared. Far less pedophilia. So shout out Happy Gilmore, Subway spokesman Happy Gilmore.
I prefer my sandwiches with no pedophilia.
Yes.
Yeah.
Me too. Me
Generally
too.
a good way to go.
You can ask for that in the store,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
That's good.
That's good.
The point is that I'm trying to make right now is that whether it was a language barrier or whether it was an ingredients availability barrier, they made it with processed cheese when I explicitly asked for cheddar. And processed cheese is not food. My body does not believe that it is food. And because I was so hungry, I ate a 6-inch, I ate half of that processed cheese sandwich, and my body is in rebellion now.
That happens.
My stomach is not impressed with me making that decision to continue eating it after the first bite. And so I am unsettled still, 18, 19 hours later or whatever. But I will definitely have some jerky later. And I'm really looking forward to it.
Someone's apparently watching the show on a plane.
Dude, you can get pretty decent streaming internet.
That's so crazy to me.
Yeah,
I believe them, but it's so crazy to me. I remember just as a test, I loaded up some game. I don't remember what it was. And I had on some plane years ago, I had 3,000 ping, and the game functioned perfectly fine, but just everything was so delayed. I just wanted to see what would happen. No, I don't think so, because it was too much. I was just actually so bad that it just nothing I don't know.
Oh, do people not know what processed cheese is? Dude, did I talk about this on WAN Show? The experience I had in a separate. I've been traveling the last 4 weekends in a row. I am actually traveled out right now.
I'm a little traveled out right now too, which is rare.
Disneyland for the work thing, went to Texas for the Gamer House tour thing, and then the last 2 weeks I was over in Asia in 6 different hotels for 2 weeks. I am super traveled out. But did I talk about my experience at the airport on the WAN Show where I was trying to order a burger and I asked if the burger had processed cheese, and they're like, it's American cheese, and I'm like, that doesn't mean anything to me. American cheese is I've heard American cheese used to describe cheddar cheese. It's kind of like freedom fries, just American cheese. That's utterly meaningless to me.
American cheese is actually a specific thing.
I think it means processed cheese.
But I think sometimes people use it for too many things.
Yeah, no, I've definitely...
It is, processed cheddar.
Yeah, okay.
American cheese is a type of processed cheddar cheese made from cheddar, Colby, or similar cheeses in conjunction with other stuff.
Also, you should not be allowed... The content of your cheese should have to be greater than 90% cheese for you to call it cheese. American cheese is just petroleum byproduct as far as I can tell.
I think they can't call it cheese. I think it has to be processed milk product or something.
American cheese has a whole very specific history behind it, where they were trying to save farmers, and they stored them in these cheese caves, and it's weird.
Anyway, the point that I'm trying to get to is that the lady behind the counter had no idea what I was talking about. I was like, is it cheddar cheese or is it processed cheese? Is it real cheese? She's like, it's American cheese. And I'm like, okay, right, but is it real cheese? I'll have to check with the chef. And I'm like, you're at a burger joint. There isn't a chef. It was a fast food chain. I was like, what are you talking about? I just want to know if you're putting real food in the food. Yeah, no, it's horrible.
Apparently, by law, it's labeled as cheese product.
Yeah, well, a lot of places definitely don't do that. They definitely call it cheese.
I believe, I'm just saying, by law, that's apparently the label that they have for it. Is they don't just call it cheese; they call it cheese product.
Because it doesn't contain enough cheese to be cheese. It has to have 51% cheese.
Disgusting. All right, what do you want to do for our next topic?
Icky.
We have a lot of topics today. It's actually going to be a very long show.
Should we knock out the other main one, Mark Rober?
I don't think anything really differentiates a main from another topic today.
Yeah. Okay.
So we can do whatever you want.
In that case, let's do one of mine. The EU says Apple can make a portless iPhone.
Let's go.
Over the weekend, we learned that Apple considered removing the USB-C port from its upcoming iPhone Air 17, but ultimately decided against the move. In part due to Due to concerns about he might be tired, but he's still beating my dyslexia.
My brain's slow but accurate. Precise.
Due to concerns about how EU regulators would view the move, Apple was forced to switch out of their proprietary Lightning port for USB-C to comply with the EU's Common Charger Directive.
They won't admit that. Apple talks about it's amazing watching how quickly
an environmentally friendly thing or something.
How quickly Apple changed their tune about how they innovated USB-C on the iPhone. It's like, brother, enough. Just stop.
In an article on 9 to 5 Max, Ben Lovejoy points out that the Common Charger Directive only states that if a device has a wired charging port, it must be USB-C. European Commission press officer Federica Micoli confirmed that a portless phone would be compliant with the law, noting that since such radio equipment cannot be recharged via wired charging, it does not need to incorporate the harmonized wired charging solution. Crazy.
Wow. So we will probably get a courageously portless iPhone at some point in the nearish future. And you know what? Honestly, I think I'm kind of here for it. It's not what I would. It's
going to happen eventually.
Yeah, it's not what I would choose to buy. Given the choice, I would prefer to have something that does have a wired port. But there's always the option of just buying the Pro model or not buying an iPhone. Both of which are totally valid options. Also, my response to this sort of hinges on the existence of sort of all three options in the market. So the Air, which doesn't seem like it's going to replace the regular iPhone, and then also the Pro. So I would assume you're going to have kind of your portless one, your USB 2 one with a port, so you can actually charge via a cable, but data transfer is slow, and then your professional model that just has a proper USB port on it. I don't love how much Apple charges for these more premium versions of their products, but seeing the way that most people use their phones these days, especially iPhone users who are just like MagSafe. Like, why would anyone live without MagSafe? It's just so obvious, and they wirelessly charge all the time. I could absolutely see iPhone users just saying, "Yeah, no, I want the Air." And man, I got to tell you, I think I was talking about this on my show recently. I picked up my iPhone 6S recently, like just literally picked it up. Like I picked it up out of the drawer that I keep it in, and I was like, "Man, that's light." Even my Note 9 compared to like every modern device that I've unboxed on Short Circuit recently, it's like, man, this is sleek. Like devices they've gone non-sleek.
Yeah.
And if Apple kind of brings that back as a trend, now that SoCs have gotten a little bit more efficient, now that battery technology has improved a little bit, maybe I'm here for it. Because I don't need 2-day battery. I just need solid 1-day battery. With that said, man, I gotta say, the one spoiler that I'll give you guys for the switching to Mac for a month is not thinking about charging either of my devices. It's crazy. Like, dude, I've been using this since I left Singapore. I don't know, 1,000 hours ago or whatever. I used it extensively on the plane just to like listen to something in my headphones, just drown out crying babies and stuff like that on the plane.
Let's compare.
I got down to like 2% before I had my post plane bath, and then I basically plugged it in while I was in my nap and while I was having a nap in my bed. I can barely form a coherent sentence.
You got it.
And then I plugged it into my car on my way here. I have 77%. And it's just like...
So you've done all that. I have practically not used my phone today at all. No calls, no video.
Yeah.
And for probably like 15 minutes of intentional screen on usage time where I was just in text messaging apps like Teams or Slack or whatever else. Yeah. That's it. My phone's at 82. I very, very occasionally will have this behave like an Android, where it'll get like really hot or for some reason that I can't really identify and like behave strangely. Like I've had a lot of weird bugs with iOS 18. I'm not pleased with the software, but not nearly
to the same degree that I have with Android.
My brightness is at like 70%.
Okay.
So I was like, turn brightness down.
So here we go. I have 17 hours and 31 minutes of screen on time because Plex, I don't think supports, or I don't have it enabled. Maybe it does support it, but Plex doesn't support screen off background play. So if I'm just like, one of my sleep strategies is I listen to reruns of shows that I've watched 100 times, so I don't need to see anything. I'm not actually looking at my screen. I'm just like listening to this content that is fine, but it's just repetitive. It's boring, and it drowns out people talking much more effectively than like white noise for me. And then the other thing is that music will keep me awake 100%. I cannot listen to music and sleep. So TV shows are my go-to for when I'm trying to sleep. So yeah, so you can see here, actually, I've got my battery thing. I have since, it has no idea what time is for me. So since about 6 a.m. Of the previous day, I guess, 6 p.m. of yesterday, I have 17 hours and 31 minutes of screen time, a bunch of Plex, a bunch of YouTube, a bunch of 18% of my activity is no cell coverage, whatever that means. 11% is Safari, but like, that's freaking...
I think that's your cell radio searching for towers, which takes a lot of battery.
Should have turned that off. So yeah, that should give you some idea. And then I only have like a couple hours of it since I zapped it. So like, even me being like irresponsible with my phone and not, properly turning off radios to conserve power, like I can get like 16 hours of screen time on it or whatever. I never use my phone that heavily. So I think I said in my switched to iPhone video, I basically didn't charge my phone sometimes for a week at a time because I would just plug it into my car when I'm using CarPlay. You don't have to. It supports wireless CarPlay, as does my car, but it's just a habit that I have, and it meant that I never had to think about charging my phone because I would just...
Regardless of usage, if I don't charge my phone overnight, I'm screwed.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Completely regardless.
100%.
I just checked mine. I had more screen time than I thought. I had 25 minutes in Slack. I had 10 minutes in Teams, and I had 2 minutes in Authenticator. I think the reason why there's more screen time is I just put my phone down, but that also means that after a minute or whatever, it dimmed.
Yeah.
So because I guarantee you I wasn't actually using Slack for half an hour on my phone. And that's all it was. And I've already almost lost 20% of my battery life. So like, and someone's like, knowing Luke, his phone's probably from 2016. It's not brand new, but it's an 8 Pro. It's not that old.
Yeah. Pixel.
Yeah.
And like, man, my laptop is sitting here, right? I started the show with like less than half my battery, and it's just sitting here in case I need to use it, and screen's on. It's just chilling. I know it's going to last the entire show. Like if there's anything that I love about just these Apple devices, it's that the battery management is just plain superior. And yeah, Windows and Android devices absolutely can benchmark similarly to Apple, but from my experience in the real world, once you're not in a controlled environment doing like a battery test, right? They just don't handle it as well. They just don't manage background tasks as well.
Yes.
They're not as aggressive. And so once you've got your device loaded up with apps, once you're actually kind of using it, once you have notifications coming in, they just don't handle it as consistently. All right. Bring back replaceable batteries, says Scrappy TP. I mean, that's not even the issue that I'm talking about here. Yeah, Arguin says, just checking, Mr. Who's the Boss did iPhone 16 versus S24 Ultra test, Samsung One. Yeah, there's a couple things to consider there. One is that S24 Ultra probably has an internal battery that's like double the capacity of the iPhone. It's remarkable how efficient these things are, how little battery Apple has to put in these, how little RAM they have to put in them, what Apple will do in their software to minimize the BOM cost of the hardware. And then the other thing is that he probably did that in a controlled environment where both phones were wiped fresh and then tested, because that's and that's not even the wrong thing to do. That's the right thing to do when you are testing something, is you eliminate variables. And so because there's no way to just take two phones that have been, used for 2 weeks and say with confidence that they're in the same equal state, that's how you do it. Argument says that's fair. Didn't consider the size of the battery, but you shouldn't. To be clear, I'm not making an argument that the test is like somehow unfair because Apple had less battery. This is the device that Apple chose to ship, so the test is 100% fair. That's like, if I were saying that would be like one of those arguments where, people will complain when you do like a CPU review that like, well, you're comparing against the brand that I like's last generation, so you have to wait until their new one comes out before you can... Shut up. No, I don't. Because for someone buying something today,
this is what's available.
Hypothetical future thing that exists doesn't exist yet. Yeah, so this is what it is. But I don't see that argument as much anymore. But back in like the peak, I think AMD Intel fanboy days of probably like the mid 2000s, it was all over the place, and it was just exhausting. Just exhausting hearing people talk about how the test was unfair to their brand of choice. Like, good Lord, they're not a sports team. You do not need to cheer for them. They're a corporation. For that matter, sports teams are corporations, and you don't really need to cheer for them either. But that's a whole other
and often
thing.
Used for like really shady money practices.
What? Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know much about
used
this.
To like make it so you don't have to pay taxes and all this other crazy stuff. It's like, why do all these rich people buy sports teams?
I thought it was just
all care
ego.
about sports, and then a lot of it has to do with like hiding from taxes and stuff. I don't remember exactly how all the loopholes work, but there's like big financial loopholes with having a sports team.
Why is everything a tax avoidance grift?
Yeah,
that's not an answer.
Yeah,
I pay my taxes.
Yeah,
everyone should have to pay their taxes.
Too,
if I have to pay mine.
Yeah, you'd think.
Okay.
Very cool.
What? Seriously? People are like, yeah, this is like a thing.
Oh, it's totally a thing. Yeah.
What the heck?
Yep. Because something about like the a lot of the assets actually get paid for effectively by the city because the city wants the sports team.
Oh yeah, that I know.
But then all of the assets that you own technically, even though they're effectively funded by the city, are depreciating all the time. So you can write the depreciation of this like enormous stadium and all these other things down on the rest of your taxes. But then the stadium keeps getting funded by the city. So it ends up being this like, as long as you're making money elsewhere, it's this like incredibly profitable because of tax loophole thing. Oh. I think that's how it works. It's been a while since I
remember reading a fair bit about that when the Phoenix Coyotes like couldn't get something, the city was mad because of that, because they basically like paid for this thing and got absolutely no return on it or whatever, and they were talking about moving the team or something, and it was a whole thing. So yeah, basically owners will just hold the team hostage unless cities acquiesce to their demands. And I remember
quickly it compounds too, because like the players are all aging. So I think you can like write that down to a certain degree as well.
I remember reading an article about how like not once in the history of these deals has a city ever actually been able to show a clear return on the investment that they've made into sports teams. With that said, I don't know.
I do think there is a return.
Yeah,
for sure.
I don't know that you could easily measure that, because there's a clear expectation that if you're like a proper North American city, you like have a big arena and you have a sports team and you absolutely use that arena for other things. But then my understanding is that the owner of the arena, which tends to be that private company, benefits from the other things it gets used for, like concerts or whatever else. But like,
I think so.
Oh, man, see, that's the thing, is it's hard to assign a value to like arts and culture, and to having prominent artists come to your city.
Apparently, the value of the players reduce, and you write that off on taxes as well. Yeah, I thought so. So it's like, it's the stadium and all of your assets and all of your players, and like literally everything that you have just constantly depreciates in value. So you write that all off, and then it gets all funded by the city. So you're not even, of course you're paying for some of it, but you're not even paying for like a lot of it anyways. And then it's like, it itself is not always, but sometimes a cash cow. So you just make money off it too, and then write it all off. And it's just, yeah,
meanwhile, it takes me like months to even just get a building permit to put in our badminton center.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
Oh yeah, I should probably provide a little bit more clarity on the conversation last week about fire egress. I had some people very mad at me because I apparently don't respect the importance of fire egress. I did not give every possible detail of the situation. Let me just put it this way. I do understand. Not because I just understand, but because this has been a project on my list of projects for over a year and a half. And as part of it being a project, I spoke to experts and consultants. And guys, chill. The reason that I said that the whole thing doesn't make sense and like that the just differences don't matter is because they don't make sense and the differences don't matter. That we have already established now, and we're moving forward. Like the thing that I was kind of going off about was something that had like been dealt with, and I didn't make that clear last week. So there were some people who were extremely mad at me.
Yeah, there's a comment that said like the fire code is written in blood. It's like, yeah, for sure.
Yes. But that was part of the reason that I also brought up the arbitrary changes to the fire code, like how we used to have to build 2 stairwells onto a mezzanine, and then they were just like, oh, actually, forget it. So, like, yes, the fire code is logical and rational and makes sense, but also sometimes doesn't, and they decide it needs to change.
Things should have changes over time.
And sometimes those things that change, you know what, honestly, are just because of costs or lobbying pressure or whatever else. So
maybe they shouldn't have changed.
So maybe they shouldn't have changed. Maybe you should actually have 2 stairwells down from an above ground space. Maybe you actually should. But maybe that was just like too expensive and impractical. So it's always a balancing act. And the point of the conversation last week is not changed by any of these little details. The point is that regulation can absolutely be a good thing, but applied poorly, it can absolutely just get in the way of getting anything done. That was the point. I was trying to show how I see both sides of that argument and have personally experienced both sides of that argument. Crystal in chat says, oh my fucking God, it's like people assume that you maybe don't have any resources around you. Yes. And you know what? Sometimes I do make mistakes. Right? Like, obviously, I do make mistakes sometimes.
No.
In this case, it turned out to not be my mistake, but that's not the assumption that generally gets made. And it feels like a really weird situation that I've kind of found myself in as someone who does issue corrections and as someone who does talk about that I make mistakes.
Never.
That seems to be harmful to my reputation. But I'd like to issue a reminder that you should trust someone who issues corrections and someone who admits their mistakes more than someone who doesn't admit their mistakes and just doubles down and is a weasel. But we care. Actually, speaking of mistakes, we had an error in one of our videos this week. Yesterday, we posted an LTT video about fixing the 5090's power connector. Near the end of the original upload, we showed an email from MSI where they claimed that only the FE cards, the Founders Edition cards, have the design to run all the pins to a single pad on the PCB. It turns out that this statement from MSI is false. In fact, the PCI spec calls for them all to be combined. So the only 5090 that we're aware of now that doesn't immediately combine power on the board is ASUS's ROG Astral card, the design of which was mentioned in an email from ASUS that was also shown in the video, but we could have verbally pointed this out as well. Per our policies, we removed the offending segment of the video and posted a correcting comment. Big thanks to Buildzoid, who pointed out that error in the most efficient possible manner in the interest of making sure that the community is well informed by recording a video of himself, uploading it, waiting around for it to process, and then publishing it. That was definitely the most efficient way if the absolute number one priority was making sure that the community gets the information that they need in a timely manner. We're not perfect. We'll never be perfect. But what I can do is assure you guys that we are genuinely striving to make the best videos we can. And in this case, maybe we should have just skipped that. Maybe we should have just not bothered talking about that. I don't know. I don't know what the fine line you guys want us to balance is here, because the point of the video clearly wasn't that. But I think we've felt really pressured to like cover every base, when really the point of the video was to just be Top Gear tech Top Gear.
I mean, it was pointed out on Reddit. Yeah. There's a caveat. Was it in that video? I'm not even sure, but there was a caveat that was in a video where it was like, Linus is not actually running this test, just in case he like did something wrong in the footage. It was, and everyone's like, oh, that's unnecessary. And then there's a bunch of people in the comments pointing out like, actually it kind of is, because people like would have pixel peeped what exactly you had done. And if you had done it wrong, they would have ripped it apart.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. I think one minor thing that could have been done here, which like this is a nitpick and you'll never catch all of these, so I don't know, it is what it is, but I think it was said as a statement supported by the emails, when you could have maybe said just they claim.
Yeah.
Instead of this is a fact because we have these emails, you could just say they claim.
Yep.
That might help a little bit. Ultimately, though, I agree. It super wasn't the point of the video. And I don't want us to stop doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because we're worried about these types of things.
And I got to be honest with you. Like, I'm sort of blown away that they screwed this up.
Yeah, that's surprising. People pointed out like it's just a PR person. It's a PR person. In the email, it literally says that they talked to people about it. Like they went and got resources. Just because it's a PR person doesn't mean that they're like incapable of accessing information or accessing the people that have information that is often quite literally their job.
And what's more surprising about it to me is just how I guess it's one of those things where if I ask you what color your shirt is, and I didn't like look that close, and you say blue, and I'm just like, okay, Luke sent me an email, his shirt is blue. What would be the point of you lying to me about that? Because of, in a way, how easily verifiable it was.
Yeah, and
was honestly, exactly why we didn't feel the need to verify it. Because why would you lie about that?
That it could be worded in a different way. Like, my God, I don't know. At a certain point, like, it's a video of can we get another connector on the card? Like.
And to be clear, I'm not downplaying in any way the validity of the feedback.
Totally, yeah, it's
valid,
and I would like it to be fixed. And I don't want there to be something wrong in one of our videos.
And the video is fixed.
Yeah,
the video is fixed now. As soon as we were made aware, we took action according to our corrections policies. Right, like that's what we do.
Yeah.
But like it. I shouldn't have to check something like that. The fact that we do is great to know. You know, now we're kind of sitting here going, okay, well, if NVIDIA tells us how many CUDA cores a GPU has,
oh man,
do we have to check every sample to make sure? You know? And maybe the answer is yes, but like
and people literally were mad at us for that, which like, oh, man.
Really? Oh, I didn't even catch that.
Some people were
like not spotting that some of them were missing.
Yeah, just in case people aren't aware of what we're talking about, there was, I don't remember exactly what video it was, but we got official slides from NVIDIA that had, because companies make mistakes sometimes, even when they're like massive, huge, enormous company. What? No way. NVIDIA made a mistake. They put the wrong number on the slide.
Oh, I wasn't even talking about that. I was talking about the scandal where some of the ROPs were missing on a NVIDIA,
I mean,
says
that's a little more major,
like less than 5% of the cards or something like that. But yeah, some of them just shipped with not enough ROPs.
Yeah, what I'm talking about is there was a slide from them that was slightly wrong.
KG4WWN says, have you verified Luke's real name? Perhaps the hospital with the birth certificate was incorrect.
That's true. Why is my first name English and my last name French?
You need to start saying this is the person who claims to be Luke.
Yeah. Good call.
And so yeah, I gotta be honest with you guys. If they had made a claim that was that seemed like it could potentially be false, like they could get away with it. That was the assumption I made, was that what they were saying was clearly something that they weren't going to get away with if it was false. So why do I need to check this? And the answer is apparently because I just like need to, but it was so far aside from the point of the content, of the point of what we were trying to do. We were trying to raise awareness about this issue in a fun, entertaining way. That's what we do. That's what we do, I think, as well as, if not better than anyone in the tech space. That's what we do. We talk about what we think people need to know, and we try and make it as engaging as possible.
Yeah, like some people in the community understood that, and some people didn't. And I think some of this, like, I think it's redirected or misdirected anger around tech stuff right now, is just going to push people away and make the community smaller. Because it's not fun. It's not inviting.
Yeah, I don't
know.
I don't want to get into that again today. Definitely makes me sad, but yeah. I enjoyed that video. I legitimately had a ton of fun, and I'm not
Such
gonna.
a cool concept.
Yeah,
I don't think we should. I was talking to someone about this earlier. I really strongly do not think that we should risk not doing those things, and I think risk is actually the right term. I think we should still have fun, and I think we should still, not necessarily go to mile 10,000 with everything. Like, if you just want to kind of dabble with something and screw around, I think that's fine. I don't think we should lose sight of being able to do things kind of quickly, kind of jankily for fun, because sometimes that's as much as you want to do, and that's as much depth as there is to it being fun, and going further would make it not fun.
Yep.
And
to be clear, there's room for analytical content that isn't about the fun. I mean, PSU Circuit is a perfect example of that.
Yeah, totally. Right place, right time.
Oh man, so many people seem to be very, very confused about why we use the AI voice.
Really?
Yeah. Because they're like, well, it would only take like 3 minutes for a person to read the script, or 4 minutes or whatever. So the reason that we use the AI voice is because it automates the editing. So yes, Emily spends a couple hours, like 2 or 3 hours, lining everything up. But with a human voice, with the ums and ahs, where you're actually editing like a flawed human take, we can't automate the actual cutting of the footage. So if you guys pay very close attention to these videos, which I don't really expect anybody to do because they're just...
It's not really the point.
Yeah, it's not really the point of it. If you pay very close attention, the entire thing is templatized. So the entire flow of the video is identical every time, and the actual timing of the clips is automated to the greatest degree that we can. So using an AI voice makes that automated editing process more efficient, and in the future can make it more efficient as time goes on. I would absolutely love for this channel to be a super valuable resource for people, and for it to start getting some views and some affiliate revenue and whatever else. And I would love for us to pivot and make it a fully human hosted channel at some point in the future, more like Short Circuit, where you've got a host kind of reading out the test report, injecting a little bit of personality and flavor. You've got editors spending, anywhere from 6 to 10 hours working on it. But, the entitlement of people who are attacking me for not being willing to lose more money on this channel is...
I don't see a lot of that personally.
Oh, dude.
I believe you, but I don't see a lot of that.
This has all of this, and he does all these things, and you can't get a person to read the thing. Like, guys,
that's not the point.
It's not the point. The point is that it's a data sheet. It's a data sheet in video form, and I'm sorry that it's not losing enough money for you. Every single one of those uploads is a loss. And I don't have a clear path to it being anything other than a loss.
Not the goal, even.
It's not the goal. So chill. It's all good. It's all good. You can check out if, a power supply that you're considering buying has been tested. You can see our test report. It's all good. Or you could just go to lttlabs.com.
Yeah, which looks all cool now and stuff.
Dude, the site is like actually kind of amazing now. I'm extremely excited for us to beef up the team. Oh, any progress on those postings?
Yeah, we had interviews this week.
Oh, sick.
We have interviews next week.
Oh,
I think
sick.
we have interviews the week after that.
Oh, sick. Okay, so we've had applications then.
Yeah, there's a potential change to the job description of the writer position that might be happening.
Okay, cool.
But all the other ones are full steam ahead.
Okay, awesome.
And just because there was a change to the job description of the writer one doesn't necessarily mean we're tossing all the applicants out. The problem is we're shifting it from a senior role to a junior role. That's not actually, it does reduce the budget, but that's not for budget reasons. It's for like team organization reasons. I think the plan behind it is actually really cool. I don't know if I should necessarily talk about that on the show. Does that make sense? Maybe not. Either way,
my brain is not working today, so go ahead and do whatever you want.
Sure, yeah, but we're changed we had a bunch of meetings and we decided to change the scope of the role a little bit and change some of the responsibilities and all this kind of stuff. So there were some applicants that seemed to be more junior applicants that were applying through aspiration. So we might keep those resumes. We might repost the job description to collect more if we feel like we don't have a large enough pool from there. But yeah, that one is changing a little bit. The rest are staying the same. Yeah. Cool. Moving on. I think we have explain to do merch messages.
Oh, this is weird. Have you ever seen this before?
What?
There's a dislike button, but it says disabled by owner. Is that a thing?
I have genuinely no clue what that means.
Because I could click it.
I don't see that. Mine doesn't show that.
What? What does that mean?
I'm on it. You can look at mine. Yeah, this is mine. What if I click it?
I've seen a couple comments from people accusing us of disabling the dislike button, but I've never seen...
Not disabled for me.
I've never seen the interface thing that they're talking about. What is this?
Oh, 603 said, is this an A/B test? It might be an A/B test. That might be actually a setting that we have.
And no, I've
never even heard of that.
I don't think I have... Oh, I do have return YouTube dislike. Hold on. So what if I remove it? I haven't used it in ages.
The refresh.
Oh, I wonder if it's just to do with that extension. Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh, wait, what
and my dislike, even though it said disabled before, my dislike clearly it was registered because it's still showing.
What does that even mean?
Huh. Interesting.
Is it like...
So it's user error. All right, cool. Well, yeah, sorry, we have so much to hide that we removed our dislike button. Feel free to put that in your pile of things to be mad at me about, but actually it turns out that you're just using a random extension in your browser.
Linus is for censorship.
So good job.
He's taking my ability to dislike away.
Yep.
What a mean guy.
I'm basically awful.
What a big mean guy.
Go buy an MSI GPU with Honey.
Oh,
Didn't Honey get removed from the store? Oh,
Chrome, I think.
Dude, we have an update on that this week, actually.
Oh,
speaking of which,
right.
Wait, where's the thing? Why is this not in here?
I definitely want to talk about Honey right now. That sounds awesome.
Did you?
I definitely saw it earlier.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. There it is. I found it. It's definitely not actually about Honey.
Oh, okay, sweet.
Yeah. In the near future, if you are watching an old LTT video, you might have noticed that we have cut out our old sponsor spot and added in a YouTube ad in its place. We're talking to you about this because we have, like I said in my original response to Mega Leg, just kind of willy-nilly cutting our back catalog is not something that, we're going to be able to do immediately. We have sort of a bit of a heavier ship to steer, given our back catalog is something like 10,000 videos at this point, and that our policy up until now and our agreements with our partners up until now have not included any of that. But I did say back then that it would be something that we would look at and something that we would explore. So we have done that. The wheels have been turning in the background and we're ready to talk about it. So if you have kind of a jarring experience watching our videos, it is because we are going to be cutting some old sponsor spots and adding YouTube ads in their place. The reason for this is we want to do a better job of policing our back catalog to make sure that people aren't wasting time watching ads for companies that we either no longer support for various reasons. This can come down to their policies, any actions that they've taken or refused to take for our users, or companies that are no longer relevant, like maybe no longer exist. So obviously at the top of that list is Honey. We have cut out or removed over 120 Honey sponsorship reads, and our team is working on getting the rest done by next week. There are probably going to be...
By the end of next week, probably.
There are probably going to be some casualties. I believe there are 2 videos that are being removed from the channel.
Whole videos.
Yeah. I'm trying to find the chat where Colton and James were talking about it. Yeah, so we did a shopping stream for Prime Day one year, and then we also they're both actually Prime Day shopping streams. And because Honey was so deeply integrated into the video,
you couldn't just chop out a segment.
Was like a banner across the bottom of the whole thing. What we've decided to do is simply unlist those videos.
Also, I figured out a way to loop me in to the evil that's going on with the dislike button.
Oh?
We have dislikes on Flowplane.
Oh. So you were just trying to create more value for Flowplane.
Feature differentiation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
if you want a dislike button, you got to pay for it.
It's about time anyone kind of lumped you in with all of my evilness, because you've clearly been here and complicit for 14 years or whatever.
Dodging bullets.
Good gravy. Is
I'm
it
flawless.
that long? Is it? It's probably about right.
14 years, yeah.
Holy fuck.
I think we're like very close to 15 too, technically. Yeah, it's been a long time. I was telling you recently, like, it's literally not going to be very long until this will have been half my life.
That's crazy.
We're not there yet. A few years away, but we'll get there.
Anyway, if you see any of our other videos with honey spots in them after next week, once the team has had a chance to go through, please email info@linusmediagroup.com so we can get those removed. I don't think we're ready to talk about what our policy is going to be for what gets removed or what doesn't. But what I can tell you is it's going to be a little fuzzy. No, the plan is not to scrub through the entire 10,000 video history. I don't think that's necessarily practical, nor do I think that it necessarily makes sense. But if we have videos that are old, but are still reaching a certain threshold of current day viewership, then I think those are ones that we're going to want to look at. But if there's videos that are getting like 3 views a year from 11 years ago, I don't think we're going to go back and we're going to like cut out sponsor spots for 5-4 clothing or whatever. Like I don't think that actually makes a ton of sense and is good use of people's time. So we're going to have to try to find a good balance between making sure that we're managing our back catalog, but also not just like wasting people's time with mind-numbing, morale destroying work. So we'll try and find a good balance for you guys there.
Question: are we just leaving everything up on Flowplane? Because I know there's no ad spots, but you're saying they're removing entire videos. So we're just leaving those videos on Flowplane. Flowplane people are asking.
Yeah,
I think it's probably fine.
I would think it's fine to just leave it on Flowplane.
Yeah, I think so as well.
I'm sure someone will find a way to turn that into a scandal at some point. But
you're
endorsing honey in private.
Yeah,
I'm hiding it.
Yeah,
behind his gated community.
Behind my paywall.
You can't help yourself. You just have to endorse honey.
Yeah,
and you do it. Through ways that you
make people pay for it.
The most vulnerable whale users. I'm exploiting their addiction to
the people who trust you the most, Linus.
Yes.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
Wow. Yeah, good job.
Okay, what else we got today?
We got some announcements.
Oh, yeah. We're supposed to explain merch messages. Hey, merch messages are the way to interact with the show. We don't do the other things.
Super chats, quick bits.
Thank you. Those things.
Quick bits is a tech link. Bits on
Okay,
Twitch.
what's your excuse? Twitch bits.
Right after I said it, I was like, uh-oh.
I didn't even catch it.
quick bits?
Cool. So, right, because if you're going to throw money at your screen, we believe that you should get something in return. So how about a great LTT reversible bomber jacket? It's back, folks. It's the jacket made for the indecisive or the stylish or both. We saw a ton of you guys were looking for these, so we brought them back. Luke and I are wearing the same jacket. I believe this is the only reversible garment that we've ever done. And this is a really funny one for me because I never got one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I forgot and got lazy. That's the thing about being allowed to have anything you want from the store, is that sometimes you kind of go, oh, I'll get it later. And then you don't get it. And then you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Because the run rate wasn't high enough to do a reorder. And it's like, okay, well, I missed it. I didn't get any of our merino underwear. I have two samples of it, pre-release samples that don't fit right because they were pre-release. And then I never got any of the actual production ones.
You want to know something really tragic? I have none of the full plane exclusive ones.
What?
Because they all went so fast that I couldn't do the internal request form. And I just asked for them directly, and it just didn't happen.
That's hilarious.
So in the future, I just have to buy them, which is fine.
It's pretty funny.
But the thing that really pains me is that I can't get them. I was like, I will buy it, it's no problem, but they're gone.
There's no way that we're going to ask Marco to do one shirt for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
He probably even still has the screens for it, but we're not going to, I'm not going to be because he could do it. But there's no way I would ask him to do that. The extra funny part
is I'm not even the only person from Flowplane that is like, I didn't get it.
Christmas party. We could do a surprise run of all of them.
No. If we ever acquire our own t-shirt printing gear and stuff, then I think we could do stuff that makes absolutely no sense like that. But
until then, it doesn't make any sense.
When we have an external partner, I think we try not to fuck with them any more than we absolutely have to.
It's a whole thing to load up the screen and stuff, isn't it?
Well, yes and no. They do prototypes. They'll do one shirt for us.
That's aspirational. Yeah, it's not knowing this is the only one you're gonna do. Yeah.
Yes. And you know what? Honestly, our t-shirt printing guy is awesome. And sometimes he will even do stuff where he'll be like, yeah, I like what you guys did, but also here's a version that has a couple more colors that I thought would look really cool. And so he'll do stuff like that. He's clearly willing to put in the work, but I don't like asking people to do something that makes no sense for their business in general.
No, for sure. I'm not.
Sorry.
Not
yes,
asking
I'm fixing the collar. Anyway, the point is that there we go. Luke and I are wearing the same jacket right now. Oh, did I not?
No,
fix
it's the front now.
Oh, shit.
There you go.
There you go. Sorry about that. Luke and I are wearing the same reversible bomber jacket. It has the most subtle LTT branding of all time. Yes, we have a black on black
technically right there
logo that you can kind of make out if you look at it from the side. And then the puffs make little LTTs.
I thought that was really cute when I first saw that.
See this? There's a T, and there's another T. There's an L in there.
It's far easier to just see the T's.
There's an L in there somewhere.
There.
Yeah, they're in there somewhere.
I think the L's are made with the little square, so the bottom of the L is actually closed off, so it's not as easy to see, but it is there.
So by default, it's stealthy and sleek. And by not default, it is vibrant orange with LTT quilted all over it. It's weather resistant and slightly insulated to keep you warm, but not too warm during the spring. And also has a total of 9 zippered pockets on both sides, so you can carry all the things. It's available now at lmg.gg/bomber. Also, we have some Flowplane announcements after the first merch message.
Sorry, before you go. I just want to show this because not everyone notices it. But someone asked me for the sizing of it for tall people. I would recommend it's small, but you can click on the size guide, and they have actually pretty good size guides for practically everything. So
yeah.
Open that little modal up and check it out.
Oh, I didn't realize how well reviewed this product was.
Oh,
it's literally 5 stars.
Yeah.
It is an excellent jacket.
Our goal, I believe, is like 4.5
0 2s
or something. 4.88 out of 5. Huh.
That's pretty good.
Man, for a company that has struggled so much to sell our jackets, we sure make good jackets.
I like it. Actually, genuinely, I bring every opportunity I have. I bring this jacket up, and I think we're never making it again or something. But the
windbreaker.
The 3D down.
Oh, the 3D down. We're never making the 3D down again.
It looks incredibly sharp.
I know.
Like, it's a really attractive jacket. It's probably like the nicest clothing item I own. It's super, super comfortable. Everyone that I've like handed it to is like, oh wow, this is really nice. And I'm like, yeah. But it was like too expensive for people to not be able to try it on.
I think that's a big part of it. I also think that we could have marketed the material that we were using, the like 3D printed, like feather-based material that was super thin. I think we could have marketed it better. Like
it's tough.
Man. We're still learning. Like we're still pretty new at the whole like physical goods business, and we've been hyper focused on just like making really good products. And for years, we just kind of relied on the sheer volume of traffic that we could drive to the site from our channel to sell it. We need to get way better at marketing, and we are getting better. Like just our product photography is so much better now.
Yeah, that's huge.
Artie and the team have been doing a great job of like our copy is so much better now. Like
that
website
too.
copy. Like we are improving, but these things take time.
Like look at this banner.
Yeah.
Like it's actually really cool. And like this one was sick. Like I don't know. There's things that are really coming along that like it makes it feel like a real store.
The site needs improvement.
Yeah.
We know that though. We know that.
There's a redesign that's being worked on.
Yes.
I don't know this, but I'm going to make a little assumption that the work being done on the redesign is being somewhat impacted by tariff stuff going on, because it's probably not as big of a focus anymore.
Oh, dude, the team's been like...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, look, we're not the only ones, so I'm not going to sit here and complain like everybody. It's a unique situation that's impacting us, but the team's just been like working on things and then effectively has to drop everything.
All gets tossed out the window.
And go figure out just completely unnecessary bullshit that...
Yeah, it's like all the companies above the border and some companies below the border too. It's a lot of people, but yeah, I think if I can make an assumption, they've probably shifted their focus a little bit to that more than the redesign, which totally makes sense. So the redesign is coming. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's coming. And then hopefully it'll look a little bit nicer. The main thing that we ran into, in my opinion, is we just have too much stuff now. Like the design for the store that we had was fine when you have like a few shirts, maybe one or two other things.
When it's a merch store.
Yeah. And now we're like even more not a merch store.
I know.
Like we were only really a merch store back in like I'm guessing like 2017.
We've talked in the past about like separating the store for like, tools and clothing and whatever, but it's like, how do we do that? We have like 2 tools.
Yeah.
Like we talked about because the cables are coming up soon, and we've talked about, okay, well maybe we should like launch a cable brand. And it's like, right, but we're going to start with just USB cables. Like it.
Yeah.
And then we lose the strength of the LTT brand.
I think you could do it once you have like really a proper like line of products.
Yeah, I guess. But the problem is it takes us so long to develop a whole lineup of products because, and a big part of it is that we refuse to make a product that just doesn't have a reason to exist. Like we have prototyped so many tools, whether it's, tweezers, or like disassembly tools, or...
Taryn was showing me a bag the other day that'll never see the light of day.
Like we prototype so much stuff, and then we just ask ourselves, what is the point of this? What is its place in the market? What need does it serve? And like I've seen a lot of criticism of our products, right? Because people are like, why would I buy that screwdriver when I can get one from Harbor Freight for $4? And it's like, yeah, sure. Exactly.
Whenever I can't find my LTT screwdriver at home and I need a screwdriver and I do find another one, I get like actually upset and we'll keep looking for like a while before I'll give up. Like, why isn't it where it's supposed to be? I don't want to use this other one. Anyways.
And if you want a Harbor Freight screwdriver, you can buy one.
Yeah, send it.
But the thing is that we don't have a competitive edge. against a Harbor Freight screwdriver,
And we're not trying.
which is being designed, manufactured, and sold and brought to market via a completely different process with a low cost at any cost mentality that we're not going to be able to compete. I don't own a screwdriver factory, right? So we're not going to be able to compete in that space. We have to differentiate in another way. We differentiate through our customer service, which has been a little slow lately, but is still committed to
Quality.
making sure that
Might not be fast.
the quality of our customer resolution strategy.
Solid.
Let's go with that. Through the Trust Me Bro guarantee, we compete based on making sure that we differentiate, like our precision screwdriver set. There was that side remark from someone that we cloned their precision screwdriver kit. We absolutely didn't. Ours disassembles and stacks and has a magnetic parts tray built into it.
Theirs also wasn't the first one.
Has longer shanks on the bit so that you can reach into recessed spots more easily. It has a stronger magnet. It also has a higher quality bearing. It has in-handle bit storage in a metal chassis. It's got all kinds of differences compared to other things. And yeah, it's more expensive. Of course, it's more expensive because it just costs way more to make. But that's what differentiates it. So we've had so many things in the prototype phase that we've just ultimately not moved forward with because, and maybe this is something that will change. Maybe this is something that will change where we actually do just say, okay, look, we need a pair of flush cutters. And yeah, they are not going to be...
I think this is I think the original goal of that whole thing was very noble. I think eventually it makes sense to change once you have product categories started where someone might want all of the stuff in this category to be from one brand or to have a
people like that
style identity, right?
Yep.
Color matching, general aesthetic similar to each other.
Yep.
That
Quality
type of stuff.
that is dependable.
Yeah, consistent enough. That's totally a thing. Someone just said Milwaukee tools. Yeah, I mean, a lot of tools people like having. I mean, in a lot of those categories, it's because of battery compatibility and whatnot. But a lot of people like having kind of like one brand of stuff that they have. So I think getting into a category, you should probably only do it if there's something new and good that you can bring to that market. But once you're in that category, it's like, I don't know, whatever.
LTT multi-hammer. Thank you, Conrad, for that. Wait. It could be a hammer and a crowbar.
Stop it.
Yeah, I don't know. And like, obviously, it's a strategy that works for other brands. Like, I forget who it is, but one of those worksite brands has like a radio. It's
like all of them?
$200 or $250.
Because they
Makita
run off-
has
they run off
an
the tool
espresso
batteries.
machine.
Yeah. A rugged espresso machine for manly espresso drinkers.
Yeah, and it probably runs off the tool batteries.
It does, yes.
Yeah. They find a way. Everything will run off the tool batteries.
Yeah, so you know what? That's something that in the longer term, maybe we do just have to kind of figure out, and maybe we, 3x
They have a microwave.
the engineering
No,
team.
I think that's a joke.
Maybe we 3x the engineering team, and then we just make a hammer, we make flush cutters, we make Ethernet crimps, and as long as they're good enough and they're priced reasonably-ish, then hey, we'll have that. Oh my god! It doesn't even come with a battery. Good lord!
Of course they do. I don't know why. I don't know why I doubted it.
That photo of it just on the ground is so golden to
I'm gonna
me.
heat up my work hot pockets. Oh my
man.
god! Yeah, of course. I think that we should do an espresso grinder.
Maybe there's a middle ground to be found here. I don't think we need a microwave.
Now you have to.
Can you imagine being the engineer at Makita who's tasked with this? So, I'm sorry, what?
No. They would have a meeting. They'd all be drunk,
making
and they'd
what?
just be like, "Microwave! Oh my god, dude! Yeah,
should have a microwave.
let's go. We'll make it blue. What a great idea!"
It's kind of I bet you they sold these, to be honest.
Oh, I'd buy one.
I guarantee
I
you
would
they did.
definitely buy one as like a flex.
Yeah, if you're on like a fairly remote job site
And you own Makita stuff anyway.
and they don't have any I don't know.
This is like
kitchen
if you
cooking services,
gave
whatever.
Seb no budget, or oversight.
Hey, you can do whatever you want.
It's a blank check.
Microwave
And Seb wouldn't build that.
made out of failed screwdriver shafts.
Seb would build a folding microwave.
IKEA, assemble it yourself.
Oh man.
I don't think we're going to do a pocket knife anytime soon. And we're definitely not doing whatever that other person. Oh, LTT pizza oven though. I like it. You could have a computer in it. You could double as a computer case.
It crypto mines.
What if you made a warming thing where it just you mounted like a radiator to it, like a computer radiator to it?
I'd be down.
Didn't the PlayStation or the Xbox do that with a Pizza Hut?
Pizza Hut or something? Yeah, I don't remember who it was.
Someone memed on that at some point. I can't remember. I can't remember exactly who. Was it KFC? Did a console?
KFC, yeah,
KFC. Okay.
Do you want a merch message?
Have we actually done one yet?
No.
Did we even explain what they are?
Yes.
Yeah, I did. Oh,
Okay.
wait, we didn't explain how to send one.
There we go.
Oh, you go to LTT. You go to LTT.
I knew something was wrong.
You go to LTTStore.com, you add something to your cart, you'll see a box. There'll be a thing when we're live, the box, and then you can put a merch message in there, and then when you place your order, it will go to producer Dan. Hey, there it is. Look at that. I would like to merch message. And this guy will look at it. And
Am I bad at my job, or are these guys just uncontrollable?
God, why not both?
Yeah, sure. Okay, I will now read you one of those things.
Nice.
Hi DLL, are there any updates regarding cable testing? I got scammed on a Type-C to DP cable recently. It couldn't do 4K 240 hertz as advertised, and I was wondering if Labs is going to do cable testing.
So we are currently working on cable testing from both ends of the organizational noodle. The Creator Warehouse team is working on the development of our own cables, and the Labs team obviously is interested in using our cable tester, but beyond being interested in it, I don't think we have much in the way of plans to start publishing any kind of cable testing. We did a couple of LTT videos with our cable tester back in the day, but the thing that we ran up against is that while it's a really cool device, it's limited in terms of what it can test. We can't test anything that has a chip in it. So no optical cables, no Thunderbolt cables, and we can't test past, I think it was, I'm probably going to get this wrong. It was either 10 gigabit per second. I think it was 10 gigabit per second or something like that, USB-C. And USB-C now, or USB now goes to 40 gigabit per second. And is it like USB 4 Gen 2 or so? I can't remember the branding for it, but there is USB 4 branding for what would be the Thunderbolt 5 data rates. But I don't remember if they need chips in the cables or if they like only work over very short runs. I'm a little fuzzy on the details. I haven't had to do a video about it recently, so you'll have to forgive me if I'm wrong. But either way, that cable tester would be getting nowhere near 80 gigabit per second. It's just not fast enough. And the tools that can get that fast are not so convenient as that device was. They may have modules that can work for these faster data rates now. I don't think we've looked into it for a while, but basically, short version of the story is that for the development of our branded cables, we used a third party to do testing and validation because we do have cables that are going to be rated for 20 gigabit, and we needed to be able to test those in a way that was reliable. Can't just take anyone's word for it if we're going to put our label on the product. I'm very excited about the cables. They're chonky. They're like noticeably contribute to the weight of what I'm carrying. But I trust it. It works every time.
There was a fun moment down in that city that we were in, doing the LAN house tour thing, where somebody was. I think we were talking about LTTStore and how we make like good stuff. And then somebody there was like,
"Oh no, I think they know where the city is."
Oh, okay.
People know where the LAN
Okay,
house is.
okay.
Yeah, it's in Austin.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure.
Yeah.
But somebody there was like, "Oh, you should make USB cables." I'm like so tired of all these ones. I don't remember. I think it was like hobby radio operating.
That's right.
Some issue with some cable, and you were like, I mean, these ones, and pulled one out of your
I
pocket.
had a
That
prototype.
was a pretty fun one.
And they looked at it. They were like, "Okay, like how is it made?" And I was like, "Oh, coaxial, all the things." And they were like,
Oh, yeah. It's going to be expensive, but like there's people that will have applications for them, and there are no other cables like this as far as my understanding goes.
Yeah.
So like it is what it is.
they were like, "It's pretty thick. There's no way every conductor is shielded in there." And I'm like, "Don't make me cut it open." Really, don't make me.
Last time we did that, it was a problem. I feel like almost as a joke, you should like cut one in half for the product page, like show. Not even a joke. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
be
we
cool.
will.
Yeah,
Because we'll have cable stock.
Yeah,
Like, we
right.
still have cable stock. Like we have cable stock now. We could show it to people.
That makes sense.
But yeah, no, they are very, very high quality cables, and I'm very, very excited for them to arrive at some point eventually. We're working on it. We're going to do it right. And then if USB cables are a success, we'd like to do more than that. I don't think we're going to get into fiber optic anytime soon. So we're going to do quality copper conductor cables, and then we will see how it goes. I mean, who knows? Maybe it'll be a huge smash hit for us, and we'll be like, oh, we'd be crazy to not invest in figuring out
More
optical
cables.
cables, but we need to get this over the line first.
Yeah. Got to do one.
Sometimes I wonder what our business would be like if we took a more just go hard approach. Like we kind of did a middle ground approach, and that didn't work very well, where we like hired people without proper management structures. But there's other ways to do things. Like you can like go out and look at how Mr. Beast did Feastables. It's not like he tried to be the CEO of a chocolate company. He just hired a team of experienced people from the snack industry and was like, okay, go. And you can see it reflected in the lower profitability, obviously.
Yeah.
Like I think the numbers were something like 30 million on like 300 million in sales or something like that. But still, that's healthy enough.
$30 million.
I was just surprised to see that he's apparently still losing money on the video production side. They've taken like 450 million in
Some of these,
in investment.
Like, I don't know. I hear you. Some of the stuff that they do, though, it's like, oh God, yeah, that would be really expensive.
Yeah.
Like unfathomably expensive.
I just don't really understand why he bothers to do that anymore. Like some of the more humanitarian philanthropic stuff, sure, yeah, absolutely. But some of the just like
That's a
spectacle
lot of that's
stuff,
on another channel.
yeah. But some of the not always. Like the blindness one was
Yeah,
not.
he has Mr. Beast philanthropy.
No,
right?
I know. But just like the spectacle videos, I just feel like he doesn't really. He's such a creative guy. I feel like he just doesn't have to rely on a big price tag anymore. But and sometimes it's not just like a bigger prize or a more expensive Lamborghini and a crushing machine or whatever. Like sometimes it comes more down to elaborate sets and just doing things in a novel way. But It just seems like at some point it might be nice to make that a sustainable machine as well. Those things could both be true. That's a nice hat.
I love how he got like super canceled and just it didn't matter at all. Just looking at his channel right now.
Well, I mean, it's not like he's his influence is important or anything. It's not like he's an error on a graph could potentially make someone buy the wrong graphics card and regret it for the rest of their life.
That's true.
So
That's true.
we have to have different standards for different people.
Yeah.
It's all about the importance of what's going on. Like someone's gaming
That
could be impacted. Luke.
that's a life.
Think about it.
That's a life.
Think about it.
Imagine that life went on without ray tracing.
Dang it, you got there first. I'm too slow today.
I felt like you were cooking for it too. It's like I will win this.
Oh, you got me so good. I wanted to get there first, but my brain is so bad.
Anyways,
How about
next
the
merch
float
message?
plane announcement?
Did we do 2 merch messages?
No, we didn't. We did only one, I think. I'm pretty sure.
We did one merch message. Do you want to read the title of float plane announcements?
After first merch message, okay.
Oh, sure. Next
Sorry,
week, we will have a stream with Sarah. Let's watch the announcement with audio, please.
Is this another Floatplane design? Because if it is, I need to buy this one.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Because I didn't plan complaining about that.
Okay. I already like the vibe.
See if the audio is going to work. Sure, go for it. All right, they can hear it. Now you want to hear it.
Well, it's Derpy Dinos. Welcome to Streams with Sarah.
What am I...
Join us on Floatplane Live next Thursday, where I will be drawing Derpy Dinos with your contribution. See you there.
Is it going to be a product?
I mean, yeah.
Or is she just drawing dinos?
Jurassic Park that's a pretty timely cultural reference, right? Did you hear them playing it on the recorder?
Yeah, no, I thought that was great. I'm wondering if that's going to be a product. Because I don't think they said like her previous ones, they made shirts out of it.
That's the hat. It took me way too long to get that because I'm really stupid right now, but that's crazy. That's awesome.
Sorry, I didn't even realize it took you that long to get that.
Oh, dude,
I wasn't.
I got there at the very end.
Okay.
Yeah, buddy. Cool. Yeah, great job,
You didn't
team.
get it from the head turn?
No.
And the dinosaur?
Yeah, not even. I was literally at Universal Studios riding around on like Jurassic Park rides 2.5 days ago, and it still took me that long.
Wow, that's awesome. But yeah, I don't know, because I know with a lot of these previous streams they've turned them into shirts, or one time even it was like a poster, I think. Man, I'm not sure.
It's some kind of design stream. Oh, here we go. As promised, we'll be selling the Content Cosmos design as a poster during the stream, exclusively for Floatplane subscribers, or as I like to call them, floaters. If you don't know what the Content Cosmos looks like, here it is, and I don't have access to
Neither
this.
do I, so I can't.
Nice.
Give me a second.
Dan's working on it.
He's working on it.
He's cooking. Let him cook. Go subscribe at lmg.gg/floatplane, not on YouTube, because we don't stream there. Well, we don't stream this there. We're streaming something there right now. It's that. Oh, that's sick.
So
That was it? You were only going to show it for that long? We're not going to get
that's such a
to
tease.
appreciate it?
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Sammy had that shirt when we were down at the place.
That's amazing.
San Fran. Okay, next merch message.
Yeah, we're getting there. With the recent flurry of 30-day challenges, is GrapheneOS something you would do and explore? Custom phone OS.
I guess so. It's such a hassle.
Yeah, it really is.
Awful.
Doing phone stuff is really annoying.
And like it's like getting into Linux stuff where no matter how right you do it, everyone will just kind of hate you for it anyway. And it's like, why do I even bother talking to you people?
Wow. Wow.
Oh, I thought you were wowing at me being spicy.
No. I went to their website and was looking at stuff, and I was like, oh, they have a features tab. I wonder what features they have. And then I was like, wow, this is really dense.
Okay,
Then I
so
started
it's like a
scrolling,
wiki.
and I was like, whoa. And then I kept scrolling and was like, oh.
What
Wow.
features do you have? Yes.
Yes. Wow.
Wow. GrapheneOS. Wow. Yeah, I would consider it. It's just, it's such a hassle. And the things that differentiate phones for me these days are just totally not really the OS that much. Like, you guys have probably noticed that I'm long past my 30 days that I committed to do on the iPhone.
Yeah.
I super duper don't love it. I still have some weird buggy behavior that I have not invested the time into fixing and therefore haven't fixed. Like, I've got this is a really weird one. Check this out. When I open, this one worked. This is so bizarre. So sometimes when I click a link to a Google Doc, no, that was user error. I clicked the wrong spot. It like totally opens a Google Doc. And then I had it today with Chewy's community report. Here it is. So sometimes when I open a Google Doc, it's like, yo, do you want to open with Chrome or Google app or
Whatever that
Safari,
is.
and it doesn't prompt me for anything other than a browser. So I don't recall setting it to open with a browser, like a Google Doc link in my email, but I can't accept calendar invitations sometimes, and I can't open Google Docs. I just have to go close the app and then just open the Docs app and then go to shared with me. Someone says, click Safari. It'll open in Docs. I promise you it won't. Watch this. Safari. And it opens in Safari. Or it prompts me to sign in, rather. I am 100% signed in. Oh, wait. Hold on a second.
Is that Docs?
Oh, yeah. No, hold on. Wait, what is this? Oh, no. Okay, no, that's just my password manager. So I'm 100% signed in because I can open that doc here. This is the doc that was shared with me, but for whatever reason, I click done. I try to open it here. I am literally in the email inbox of the one that I just showed you. People are like, that's a Google thing. Well, that's nice, but it's a crappy experience. I use Google for my organization, so it's bad. I don't recall ever setting it to do that. I'm not saying I didn't. Look, calm the fuck down.
So you need to be signed in Safari and then it opens it in Docs? That's so whack.
What? Why would I?
Joshua Carroll in Full Plane Chat is saying you need to be signed into Safari and then it will work.
Why did it work the other time?
Who knows?
You just saw me open a different Google Doc and it did work.
Yeah. I have no idea. Is it specific types of docs? Like, do docs open in one, but
they were
sheets open in another?
They were both docs.
They were both docs.
Here, hold on. Which one was the one I tried to show you? Yeah, the one I tried to show you was the Logistics Weekly Update.
Which is a doc, yeah.
And that one opened in Drive and then Docs.
Yeah,
and 100% opened.
I don't know.
Yeah. You were already in that doc in the Google Docs. No, that's not the issue. Yeah, it is bizarre how defensive people will get about this. I'm not attacking iOS right now. Right from the very start, I said, I do not recall configuring it to do this. I left an opening for it being very possible that I configured something incorrectly. And before that, I said that I haven't investigated, but the behavior is certainly very weird. My point, let's not lose the point. My point was that even with that inconvenience, the operating system of my phone just doesn't matter that much to me these days. I'm clearly still using this because in spite of the fact that I have some inconveniences, there are inconveniences in pretty much everything, whether it's Android, macOS, Windows, Linux, iOS, they all have inconveniences. And it just doesn't matter that much.
I had Theo, T3 Theo, watch your iPhone video.
Oh, yeah.
He's a Apple device enjoyer, like fairly intensely. And yeah, he had some minor disagreements, but for the most part, he was like, yeah, agreed.
I really do think that Apple needs to bring some non-Apple users into their product development process, because the kind of just acceptance of stuff that is just obviously wrong. And when I say wrong, you know, from like a product design standpoint, what I mean is inconsistent. When the same action can do two different things, or two different actions, actually no, two different actions to do the same thing is fine, because then as long as the documentation is clear and as long as they each have, you know, a distinct purpose, then that can be down to user preference. But when the same action gets you two different results, that's not great.
Yeah. He had some interesting comments on stuff like that as well. Like, and this wasn't him like refuting your comment, but it was just like a discussion piece that Android's the only operating system that has a universal back.
Yeah, I think
of any kind.
Yeah, I can't think of another one that does.
Yeah.
Even Chrome OS doesn't.
Yeah. Which is an interesting observation, interesting comment. He wasn't saying like, therefore it should be fine that Apple, he wasn't saying that. But he's just pointing out.
I think the closest that we've had, like on the Windows side, was back when Escape pretty consistently closed what you were doing. Or like...
It still does pretty good with that.
Or went out... Well,
percent.
yes and no, because like programs now, they'll want Alt F4 or they'll want F10 and then navigating a menu tree and or whatever. Like I would say actually from a back navigation standpoint, we've regressed on Windows.
Yeah. I'm just saying it's not like gone, but we've definitely regressed a lot.
Okay. Short side rant. Both Microsoft and Apple fix your shit when it comes to force close. Both of you. I ran into an issue on the Mac recently where like I couldn't close something. I have to go up in the menu and go force close. That makes me so mad. Why do I have to do that? The red button is literally there. I'm telling you close. I mean close. You could prompt me, do you want to force close? This is not responding. Do you want to force close? But just bring it to me. Why do I have to go looking for it? And I want to make this very clear. I'm not singling out Apple here. Microsoft, for years and years and years, and you know what? Invitation time. I'd love to have a Microsoft developer come on the show and explain this one to me, because I will run into situations where an app is so hung that not only does clicking X not do anything, but going into the task manager and it's like not responding or whatever, and like trying to end the task, the Windows equivalent of force close, doesn't do anything. But the system's not locked up, and you can make it go away by logging out. I would love to have it explained to me, and you'll see the app when you log out, your apps all gracefully close. So I would love to have it explained to me why force close or end task or whatever doesn't just use whatever mechanism they use when I log out. Just do that. Please tell me. You are invited to come on the WAN show because maybe there is a super sensible explanation for it. Like maybe some critical process or whatever has to be closed first in order to do that or something. But I kind of doubt it because Explorer seems to be the last thing to go.
Yeah.
Like you can see the Explorer interface as all the stuff that you've been trying to get rid of goes away, and then it is done, and then it's like Explorer's gone, and then boom, it kicks you out to the login screen. It's like...
Also, some people seem to be misinterpreting my universal back in Windows thing because they're like, oh, it works. It works in a lot of Windows stuff. It works in Windows Explorer.
What does?
Back. Like a back button on your mouse.
Alt.
On your mouse.
Oh, sure.
But it doesn't actually work literally everywhere.
Holy crap. I thought I would never get used to Alt left. Like Alt left key.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the old hotkey was. Was it Alt Escape?
I don't know.
What was the old hotkey?
For what? Going back?
Yeah, going back. Like going back in your browser, back in Windows Explorer. Backspace. That's what it was. Okay.
Was that it?
It was Alt Backspace, I think.
It wasn't just Backspace.
No, I think it was Alt Backspace.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Well, anyway.
But yeah, the Android one, you can swipe to go back in anything at any time.
Yeah, it's amazing. I love it.
The Windows one, it works in a lot of Windows things, but it doesn't work.
Oh, it was just Backspace.
Everywhere, literally all the time.
It was just Backspace.
That's kind of wild.
I totally forgot that.
I don't remember.
That wasn't that long ago. It was like 2 years ago or something.
Yeah.
3, maybe?
I didn't use it.
Wait, when did they change that? It says CHLF. Yeah, I forget why they changed it, but they did it for a reason. But yeah, in your browser, Backspace used to go back, and now that doesn't do anything. Maybe it just resulted in a lot of accidental going back.
Yeah. That's
10 years ago, shut up. No, shut up. Don't even. That was 10 years ago? Shut up. Oh. Okay, no, what? When was it?
Bad search query. 2016. It's 9 years ago. That's rough, man. They disabled it. They blocked it. In July 2016, Google Chrome blocked the use of the backspace key to navigate to a previous page in their Chrome 52 release. This was because of reports that it brings about loss of data inputted into a form on a page by switching to the previous page. And probably had a lot of misinputs when people thought they were in a text box field and they weren't. Yeah. That's likely why I never wanted to use it.
Whoa. Yeah, I used it all the time. Okay, cool.
I'm a mouse enjoyer.
Yeah. Well, just when I don't know, the keyboard's right there. I don't know. I just kind of, I'm a sporadic hotkey user.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. What
I have used Alt Left often on laptops.
Okay. But have you tried the Alt Right? Here, you just got to press that key next to the Z and the C.
Oh.
Okay, so what are we talking about now?
Who knows?
Speaking of which, Mark Rober is under fire.
Oh!
For his latest video about LiDAR that had a focus on comparing camera-only assisted driving systems, as found on Tesla's vehicles, to LiDAR-assisted systems. The big headline-grabbing test was, of course, the Wile E. Coyote-style fake highway wall that they erected to try to fool the cameras. And the video was celebrated for demonstrating why Tesla's camera-only systems are inferior to more expensive LiDAR solutions across 6 tests involving a variety of driving conditions: fog, heavy rain, sunset, sunrise. The Tesla failed to safely stop before hitting a child mannequin and or a Looney Tunes wall in 3 out of 6 tests. LiDAR was successful in all tests. However, this video drew the ire of many folks. Why? Well, for the one thing, the title. Can you fool a self-driving car? No self-driving cars appear in the video. Both cars are using driving assists rather than being self-driving. However, as I have talked about for the last 10 plus years, maybe not quite that long, but certainly more than 5, Tesla's being self-driving is a pretty common misunderstanding. And I can see how, much like I made that video saying that I stole a tampon from a store when it was clearly a pad.
That was the beginning of Evil Linus, I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
I can see how he might have used the term self-driving because it was easily understood across many languages, and has a strong association with the Tesla car that he was using in the test, even if, no, technically that car is not self-driving. And a big part of the reason that people associate Teslas with self-driving is that, A, they call their control/lane keep assist, their auto cruise control/lane keep assist autopilot, which is pretty misleading. And they also call their advanced driver assistance full self-driving and have been promising next year complete autonomy for 6 years, something like that. Don't quote me on it, but quite a few years. So was that title the best choice? No, probably not. It probably wasn't the most factually correct choice, but I can also completely understand why.
Elon Musk first publicly announced that all Teslas would have the hardware necessary for full self-driving in 2016.
Oh, wow. So 9 years again. Nice.
But I think he made that promise in 2016. Oh, he said it would be in 2 to 3 years.
Got it. Okay. All right. So anyway, yeah, the title probably could have been more accurate. The other main criticism is that he was using autopilot, which is outdated. Tesla's full self-driving system that, again, does not allow the car to drive itself unattended. It requires constant human supervision, is far more advanced than the autopilot system and has received more updates. However, that doesn't really change the point of his video, which is that both autopilot and full self-driving rely entirely on cameras which have fundamental limitations. Rober has not disclosed which version of Tesla Autopilot he tested. And Tesla planned to roll out the ability to use full self-driving without a driver in June. I'm not even going to say that. Tesla.
Why is it?
This is the MSI board power thing again. So I should just not say anything that a manufacturer says at this point. Then, Tesla says that they're going to do that, but hey, they first said that it was coming later this year, like many years ago.
Yeah, they specifically in 2019. Where is it? In 2020, Musk claimed full self-driving would be feature complete by the end of the year. That was the first time that it was like within a year that he claimed it would happen, as far as my understanding goes. Based on this timeline that I found, which might not be right. Someone else said it. I gotta be careful.
So, in summary, I think that we're kind of missing the forest for the trees here a little bit. The point of the test, and like, man, people are getting so hung up on the.
I think it's the timing, right?
The fake road.
Robert was talking about how I think they were like planning this video from last year. He's not apparently an investor in any company involved, and didn't get paid by that company with the LiDAR cars. They just provided one of the cars, and he's openly planning on like buying a new Tesla soon because he wants to like upgrade the one that he has. He's like, I'm not a Tesla hater. I'm not against them. I'm going to buy another one. You're like targeting the wrong person, which I think is hilarious. Personally, I don't know about anybody else, but I think it's funny. But I think it's the timing with the stock going down and the Tesla protests all happening right now, and a lot of people just not understanding even sort of at all that video production has like timelines, and this was definitely started a long time ago and was not planned to drop during like a Tesla stock on fire, everyone lighting cars on fire, anti-Nazi protests arc. You just never know what's going to happen. The world's crazy.
Casper Explorer asks, what happened to using both in conjunction? Good question. Tesla not only stopped shipping cars with LiDAR in them, they actually deactivated the LiDAR that is in any of their existing fleet of cars that do have LiDAR installed in them. And that was in the interest of building their full self-driving capabilities using only cameras. The really baffling thing to me is that, and I actually didn't even realize this until I was reading up on this, is that Tesla not only relies just on cameras, but they don't even have stereoscopic vision with their cameras.
Oh.
I did not know that. And you guys correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, but that was something.
That'd be too many cameras.
Sorry, it wasn't a LiDAR, it was radar, wasn't it?
We're gluing panels on around here. We can't double up the cameras.
Hold on, they never had LiDAR. Hold on. What did they have in?
Radar?
What did they disable?
What did ultrasonic sensors?
Reliance on cameras.
Tesla removed the ultrasonic sensors.
Oh,
as part
sorry,
of its
guys.
Transition to camera-only driver assist.
Ultrasonic. That's right. They didn't use LiDAR because LiDAR was really expensive back then. LiDAR costs have come down, though, and that's why other cars are coming equipped with it.
Thank you for that. Just detected Linus, who just lied.
They do have a one-dimensional. Thanks, Dan. They do have a one-dimensional distance sensor. So there you go. I would have thought that they would want like stereo vision with the cameras, though.
Too many cameras.
Yeah, maybe too many.
Like I said earlier, we're gluing on panels over here. We're not buying extra cameras.
Look.
It's not happening.
Look.
We can't afford fasteners, dude.
I am not claiming that I know how to build a self-driving car.
But maybe you'd use a fastener?
But that's the difference. That's the difference. I'm not claiming to build a self-driving car. And the point of Mark's test was simply to show that there are limitations in a camera-only system that are going to be not just difficult, but impossible to overcome by not having anything else backing it up. And I think we've really seen that, especially under, real world challenging conditions, different from what he tested. Like up here in Canada, snow is a major factor in the functionality of any kind of camera system. I mean, on my car, regularly, I will turn on my car and I'll get like a notification that some of my driving assist features don't work because the cameras are like caked in snow. And like, yeah, sure, theoretically, you should go out and do like a pre-flight check before you ever operate a vehicle. Like that is literally
it's part of the rules
on your exam.
Yep.
When you get your driver's license.
If you don't do it, they fail you.
You are actually supposed to do a walk around the vehicle.
And I have never once seen someone do it outside of the exam.
Not even once. Nerdle's like, what?
Yeah, it's literally, it is a very serious part of our exam up here. If you don't do it, you definitely will fail. And I genuinely has never seen that happen. Jake does. I watched Jake leave the building literally yesterday, and he did not.
No.
I don't believe you.
There's no way. So yeah.
Damn copy.
So the point is, theoretically, I should go around my vehicle and I should have a little brush and I should sweep off all my little cameras and everything.
Yep.
But there are also situations where there's a bunch of slush on the road or a bunch of salt or there's a bunch of snow coming down.
Recover while you're driving.
Where it can get covered while you're driving. And it's just very obvious that a camera pointed in a particular direction can be covered. Oh, well, good luck, everybody. Linus admitting on camera that he doesn't do the legally required pre-drive check that everyone else definitely does.
I don't. Come get me. Let's go. On your drive over, don't forget to walk around your car, which you definitely won't do.
Max O'Drive says, Kyle Paul did a video that shows that hardware 3 on older software on full self-driving fails, but hardware 4 on current software does see the wall and stops. Can you remind me, what was the generation of hardware that Mr. Musk said would be capable of full self-driving again? What was it? Can you?
Let me, I gotta find that again.
What was the one? Trying to remember what it was. What was it? Was it 4? I think it was 4. It was 4, right?
I think it was like 2.
No, it was 3.
It was 3?
Yeah, it was 3.
Again, I'm reading this off something else, so I don't know. But Elon Musk, and this is a quote. This is a quote. I didn't say this is a quote. Okay? Elon Musk initially stated that Tesla's Hardware 2.0, or HW2, also known as AP2, was capable of level 5 autonomy, paving the way for full self-driving capabilities.
That's an AI overview, though.
I didn't say it.
You should ask Grok. You should ask.
I didn't quote it.
You should ask the uncensored AI.
Sure.
That's actually pretty funny. You should ask Grok.
I don't know how to do that, but I'm going right now.
Lord, you'll have to sign into Twitter.
Yep.
Yikes.
Yep.
What are we supposed to be doing right now, Dan? Oh, I'll do sponsors while you figure that out.
When people ask Grok who spreads the most misinformation on Twitter, and it says Elon. Have you seen that?
No.
It consistently says Elon.
That's actually
amazing.
Hilarious. I mean, you can't say it's censored then. Squarespace. Wow. Tired of your online presence looking like an early 2000s nightmare? We feel you. Instead of dragging your feet on coding a site, you can literally just drag and drop a design from our sponsor, Squarespace. Squarespace is an all-in-one platform that helps you set up invoicing, marketing, scheduling, and more. They also have integrated, optimized SEO tools that help your site rank higher in search results. That means more people will find your site easily. With tons of beautiful layouts and styling options, you can always find one that fits your needs, and it will look great on any device. They also support all major credit cards and many other popular payment methods. So why wait? It's so easy that we built our website on Squarespace too, linusmediagroup.com. So start building your site today and get 10% off your first purchase by visiting squarespace.com/WAN. The show is also brought to you by Vessi. Have you been dodging mud puddles like you're playing The Floor is Lava? Rain or shine, you want to be out there cheering like a proud soccer parent, but trekking across those fields just gives you the ick. What is this read? And cold, wet socks? That's a real red card. Okay. Luckily, our sponsor Vessi has you covered. You can stay dry, comfy, and win the Best Parent of the Year award without worrying about the weather. Check out their storm bursts. They combine sneaker-like comfort with boot-level protection and are great for those spontaneous weekend adventures. They feature a rugged outsole designed for superior traction on wet, slippery, or uneven surfaces. Plus, they offer both a high top and a low top option. So step boldly into any weather with Vessi's Stormburst. You can grab yours now at vessi.com/WAN show to make every step an adventure, and you'll even get an instant 15% off your first purchase at checkout. Finally, the show is brought to you by Thorum. Do you know what you can slip your finger into?
Oh.
Wrong! Or maybe right. But also, you can shove it straight into an actual meteorite. Our sponsor, Thorum, turns actual meteorites into rings, so you can flex a piece of outer space without having to fight any aliens. They handcraft rings from materials like meteorite, whiskey barrels, dinosaur fossils, and even World War II rifle stocks. Thorum began in 2012 when founder Caleb Martin couldn't afford a ring, so he made one for his now wife, Steph. Not only did Steph say yes, but over 10,000 customers have also said yes, leaving 5-star reviews. Now Thorum has expanded into minimalist watches featuring meteorite, Hawaiian koa wood, and California redwood, so your wrist doesn't feel left out. Every order ships within 1 business day with free worldwide shipping, plus they offer a lifetime warranty. So whether you need a wedding ring, an anniversary ring, or you just want a ring that looks awesome, head over to Thorum.com and use code WAN to get 20% off a truly unique ring. All right. Luke, what did Grok have to say?
All right. Well, first off, hardware 2.
Okay, Grok agrees.
Yeah.
This was announced in October of 2016 when Tesla stated that all cars produced from that point forward would be equipped with the necessary hardware for full autonomy, including 8 cameras, radar, and ultrasonic sensors, paired with an NVIDIA computer. Okay, so this is pre the Jim Keller version of the hardware, because which one did Jim Keller work on? Did he do hardware 3?
We're cooking. Hardware 3.
Yeah, okay. And that's the one that
Wait for it.
No, for real this time, would definitely be capable of self-driving with full redundancy, but now it turns out they're actually using all of the redundancy just to like run it at the level that it's running at now.
In its defense, it's coming to this conclusion by looking up, it seems. Yeah.
Oh.
I didn't actually know that part. So it's coming to that conclusion by like looking up websites, which I mean, I'm sure people say that a lot.
I think it would be very hard to define who actually spreads the most information on a particular website.
But if it's just like effectively Googling it, then people are going to say Elon all the time. So it makes sense that it comes up with that. I just thought it was funny, but I didn't realize it was just search engine stuff.
Speaking of being potentially Linus, American cheese is cheese. Well, then it should taste like cheese. Boom. Roasted. Absolutely destroyed. So this is interesting. We don't have this topic prepped, I don't think. Do we have anything on Section 230?
As far as I know, it's a mixture of cheeses. Section 230? What?
Yeah. So that's the whole thing where you're like not liable for the content on your site, which is a huge part of, why user provided or user generated content at all like exists.
Yeah.
So it's an amendment of the Communications Act of 1934. I'm just looking at Apple Insider's article about it. Crucially says that no provider or user of an interactive computer service shall be treated as the publisher or speaker of any of the information provided by another information content provider, which basically means that user-generated content can't open you up to legal liability. Lawmakers are sort of seeking to kill off Section 230, which is kind of scary. There's support from both sides, apparently, from both Democrats and Republicans. Maybe they just want to force the tech industry into negotiations. Either way, I just thought that was kind of interesting because we were talking about the spread of misinformation on a site. Can you imagine if X Inc. or whatever the company is called was liable for the information that people post on the site? You would completely...
UGC sites would be gone.
Like, we would shut down the forum immediately. Yeah. That's the reason that I brought it up, because that was the first comment on Reddit under this, was like...
Anything with a comment section would either remove itself from the internet or remove their comment sections.
Yeah, the OP asked, what would happen to the Linus Tech Tips forum if Section 230 went away? We would immediately delete it.
Yeah. Or not allow it to be opened in America.
Oh, yeah, that's an option too, I guess. We could just close it to Americans and they could have the VPN experience that the rest of the world gets to enjoy.
Yeah.
That was it. That was all I want. I just wanted to answer the OP's question here about what would happen to the forum. It would be gone. Period.
For you, yeah.
And comments on YouTube would absolutely disappear, which...
Well, YouTube would disappear.
Oh, yeah. Man.
Unless they had like an approval team at YouTube and like a very small pool of creators that were allowed to upload content at all, and all the content on the entire channel had to be vetted, or entire platform had to be vetted and manually. I doubt they would allow an automated system to do it.
No, there's no way, especially when liability comes into it.
Yeah, effectively, like the vast majority of the modern web that is known and used today would die. So, maybe they should get rid of it.
Shraf2K says, no YouTube comments. Can we do this today? Okay, people really want us to talk about the Plex thing.
All right. I mean, we have the notes.
Plex is under fire. Here's the question, though, Luke.
You were too early.
When we dropped Plex as a sponsor, why didn't we warn anybody?
That's true. You could have.
We could have.
You could have.
We could have warned them.
You're a jerk.
Yeah, I know.
Just be a big mean guy.
So we did drop Plex as a sponsor a year ago, 2 years ago, something like that. I still use the product.
I think your timeline dilated again.
You think so?
I think it's a lot longer than that.
Oh,
I could be wrong, but I think it's a lot longer than that.
When's the last time Plex sponsored something?
I don't think it was 10 years ago. No,
I don't think it was that long ago.
No, someone in chat said 10 years ago. I don't think it was that.
Hold on. I don't know. Just do my usual thing. Linus Plex. 3 ways to start your own Plex server. Yeah, I think they sponsored this. Yeah, Plex for sponsoring this week. Learn more at Plex Pro Week. No, I'm good. Well, okay, September 2022.
That's
2.5 years ago. That's 2.5 years ago. That's 2.
I thought we dropped them long before then.
No, so we only ever worked with them a couple of times, but basically what I told them was I'm still going to use the product. I'll still talk about the product, but I won't take a sponsorship. This is one of the ways that we can exert pressure on a brand. Is we'll basically go, look, we're not going to enter into any kind of partnership with you guys until XYZ conditions have been met. And I basically laid out like a wish list of features that was basically their list of features that were supposed to work. And I said, look, when these work, then we'll talk. Then we'd love to work with you because I do genuinely enjoy using the product. However, it looks like I dodged a bullet here because they have, since we worked with them and since we dropped them, gone from tolerated to not tolerated as of April 29th, 2025. Plex Pass subscriptions are going up in cost. This is the first time in over 10 years that pricing has increased, so they at least do get some credit for that. The current cost is $4.99 a month, $40 a year, and $120 lifetime. The new costs are $6.99 a month, $70 a year, and $250 lifetime. I mean, okay.
It's not the most insane jump considering they've never done it.
They're giving us warning. You've got a month to buy a lifetime license for $120 before it goes up to $250. Okay, so far I'm not mad yet. Wait, the price increase applies to new and current subscriptions.
This is pretty normal.
I know, but I hate that.
We're committing to not or whatever, but it's pretty normal.
I hate that. I understand.
You've said that we will raise the price on Flowplane at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would that not apply to new and current subscribers?
No, it would apply only to new subscribers.
Oh, so we have to do another grandfather thing? Oh, okay. Right. I remember. All right.
Yeah, because that wasn't the deal. And I understand that from a contract law standpoint, every new month, every billing cycle is a new contract or whatever. But for me, it's not really a question of whether it is legally allowed. It's a question of whether it is right. And no, I don't think that's right. If you sign up for a service for $5 a month and the service doesn't materially change, at least not for the better, then you don't get to just unilaterally decide that now it's $10 a month.
I don't think it infinitely makes sense. personally. Like if you look at what $5 was worth 20 years ago, I don't know if it's fair to say like until the heat death of the universe, you cannot change the price.
Well, no, but what you can do, I mean, you're going to have natural user attrition anyway. Like we have been unrealistically generous with the OGs, for instance, where we allow them where we allow them to unsubscribe
and then come back
and then resubscribe at their original price. That's actually unhinged, and that's not something that I think we could sustain forever. But you're going to have user attrition. You're going to be constantly adding new users, and so if you don't like the old rates, then you just make new rates, and over time, you will transition everyone there.
Yeah, so Nerdle saying like unhinged but based. Yeah, and I mean, I think your policy on that is kind of nuts. I also respect it, and I'm totally down. Just to be clear. But I also think like not every service can just literally never change the prices for a very significant portion of their user base. So that's just not going to work for everyone all the time.
In summary,
for Plex, honestly, what do they actually even do? It's all hosted and streamed by you, isn't it?
Well, there is the lower quality version where it has the like if you don't have your firewall configured properly or whatever. I think they do relay some data in those cases.
All right.
I forget what else they actually do that touches their servers. I don't think it's much though. Unless you are streaming their freemium stuff.
Glimmer D said, I actually tried to change from the OG $3 tier to the $5 tier on purpose and it wouldn't let me. Get owned. I will not fix that. You have to pay $3.
Okay,
you're not allowed.
But this is a long paragraph, or this is a long topic. So I'm sure we're going to get to some stuff that we're mad about. Overall, I'm not that mad about this. It's no different from any of the rest of the industry, and the fact that they're only finally increasing their pricing now, honestly, pretty cool. All right. The exception is lifetime Plex Pass holders. If you have a lifetime Plex Pass, then your prices don't go up, and you can still obtain that until April 29th. However, there are a few other changes coming with the price hikes. Remote playback for personal media for free is going away? No way. Hold on a second. Are they talking like with their relay, or are they talking at all? Because if it's my bandwidth, how could you possibly tell me that you need to charge me for it?
Well, okay, but what is this saying? Like,
if the server/library you have access to does not have a Plex Pass subscription, you can pay for remote playback. Sorry, what?
Doesn't that make sense, though?
Does not have a Plex Pass subscription. Hold on a second. What?
I don't know how the monetization for Plex works, so I don't really know.
There's free Plex? I didn't even know that there was free Plex.
I thought there was only free Plex if it was ad-supported.
Okay.
I don't know how it works.
I'm on free Plex.
Okay.
You can't like Chromecast from your phone, but you can also like Chromecast from your phone. There's a few features that are locked behind it, but I have remote playback. I set up my IP configuration incorrectly, so when I want to watch it in the living room, I have to technically do remote playback. I don't know. So what I would have to do is I have to get a Plex Pass subscription for my Plex server, and then I could, let my parents watch it or watch it from the living room, that sort of thing.
Right.
Of course, you would never let your parents watch media that they didn't physically.
No, I mean like in my living room.
Hold. Yeah.
They would come there. Although it's technically 100%. That a rebroadcasting license. I have done none of these things.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Just theoretical, yeah.
Theoretically.
Yeah.
In Minecraft.
Yeah, Redstone Plex server. Okay, so I can see why people are kind of mad about that. Uh-oh. Am I about to hot take something again?
Let's go. We need more of them this stream. We only had like 5 or something.
I mean...
We need more.
Plex...
Pump it up.
Plex can be a broken, shitty product sometimes. Like I recently tried to use the download feature again, and it still is broken. But like if you want a free version of Plex, then use Jellyfin. And if you don't want the free version, like if you don't want to jump through those hoops, then I don't know that they're actually asking an entirely unreasonable amount of money for what Plex does, especially if you snag a lifetime Plex Pass subscription now.
So Jellyfin doesn't have like apps and things. Plex is nice because it's got apps and stuff.
Then pay for it.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like, it's not like, this isn't food. It's not shelter. It's not clean drinking water. This is a luxury product that realistically, let's be real talk right now, that realistically for a lifetime pass, if you were actually paying for your media, would be covered in like 6 movies.
Which you are.
Which of course you do pay for your media.
Definitely are. Everyone is. Everybody.
So just like, okay. Okay, maybe there's going to be some more stuff that like gets me, but I don't think this gets me yet. Plex thinking you should pay for their software. Especially because I suspect an enterprising, smart individual will find a way to just hit a local target and then like VLC into that remotely anyway. Like this just seems like the kind of thing where if you're clever enough, you could probably work around it.
Absolutely.
And like that's the thing is you're effectively
in a variety of ways.
You're paying yourself, not paying for Plex to do your workaround, or you could just pay them to not do it. Like that's the whole.
Do you do a video on that?
No, I don't think so.
Not that interesting?
Yeah, I just don't think it's that interesting. I think it's pretty niche.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Let's see if the next thing's going to get me. Remote playback with a... Okay, hold on. Remote playback for free is going away. If you have a Plex Pass for your server, you and anyone with access to that server can stream remotely. Okay. Or remote playback with a remote watch pass subscription.
Whatever that is.
If the server/library that you have access to does not have a Plex Pass subscription, you can pay for remote playback for yourself. It is $1.99 a month or $20 annual. This seems kind of terrifying from a legal liability standpoint. Why would Plex want anyone paying them money for access to pirate media servers?
Totally paid for content storage devices.
No, but actually, real talk for a second here.
Yeah, I know, I hear you.
That seems completely crazy. And I don't use that word lightly here.
Can they still play ignorance? Like, they don't know what's going through it, right?
I mean...
You're just unlocking a feature.
I don't think it's particularly encrypted in any way. The only reason that
as long
wasn't...
as they don't log it, I still think they could feign ignorance. I think, yeah.
Plex gets metadata. Yeah, they do know.
Ooh.
They 100% know what's being played.
Ooh.
So...
I've been wondering, honestly, for a very long time, how Plex hasn't gotten owned. It has made no sense to me for a very, very long
the content.
time. Yeah, but again, the whole metadata thing. You explained the metadata thing to me years ago.
But if they're relaying it...
Is this actually relay, though? I don't think it says relay.
Well, if the person... So here's a hypothetical scenario. And guys, correct me if I'm wrong here. But what it sounds like to me is if this is my Plex server and I do not own a Plex Pass because I just use it at home and I don't care, or I have my Jerky set up, to remotely access it or whatever, right? Okay, I'm using Parsec on my phone.
Or honestly, a wild range of other services.
Any number of different things. Okay, so this is my Plex server. I don't pay for Plex Pass because I don't want to give anybody any money, but I also don't want to set up Jellyfin for whatever reason. Okay. That's your computer. That's Luke's computer.
Yep.
Beautiful. Lovely computer.
It's even the right color.
LTTStore.com. You want to access my server remotely, but I've told you that if you want me to set up, my janky solution, then you're responsible for keeping it working because f*** you, I'm not going to fix it for you every week.
Sure.
And you say, oh, actually, that sounds like a lot of work, but I definitely want to access your high-quality Blu-ray rips. So I'm going to buy this $2 a month remote watch. What's it called? Remote watch pass. On what planet? Okay, right. let's say that as part of even though I can set up my janky remote watch system for myself, I, for whatever reason, can't configure port forwarding, or I don't want to. I don't want to open a port, and I'm not going to go set up Tailscale or whatever. So I effectively have my firewall up. If you access it, wouldn't that go through Plex's relay, which they know because of the metadata of the file, including the file name? Like, that's in Plex's stored metadata.
But they're storing it, though?
No, they're not storing it. They're just relaying it.
Yeah. So they could have a government agency get them to start sniffing it. But if they're not storing it, like, this is the whole thing with VPNs, right? No logs?
Sure.
If they don't store it, if they're not logging it.
Risen from whatever says Plex does not man in the middle of the content. Is that true?
I have no idea. I know very little.
Because if it's not encrypted, and there's no way that they would like encrypt it if they didn't have to, because it would just add burden on both sides. And the only, like, my understanding was the only reason that it didn't have to be encrypted was because there's no one to kind of send a DMCA to, right? Like if you download through your, it would go through your ISP or whatever. Yeah, what does that stream look like? It is an encrypted tunnel. Okay, so it's an encrypted tunnel. Okay, so then, yeah, maybe they can play dumb then. Okay, all right. However, I know for a fact that the Plex app is capable of logging, like user actions, and I know for a fact that the server is capable of logging. Can they really feign ignorance? Because I know Plex can get access to those logs. Although I'm trying to think, because I have gotten support from them in the past, and I did have to send them stuff once we got past a certain level. So is it possible that they are simply not logging the metadata?
Yeah, I'm sure. On purpose.
But are they going to have the same level of like plausible deniability when the user is effectively subscribing? It literally is called Remote Watch Pass. They literally have a subscription to watch the content that is hosted on the Plex server.
No, what if it's home videos? They don't know. Plex doesn't know. They know, but they don't legally know, as far as my understanding goes. I assume it has to be that way, or else they would just be deleted.
Oh, Risen from the Ashes goes, Plex absolutely has the metadata because they have the community friends feature that's tracking what you and your friends watch, and it even syncs between devices. No, they 100% have it.
They even have a Plex movie database that automatically identifies your home movies.
Yeah, every once in a while I have a very...
How do they still exist then? This has been... I haven't understood this for so many years. How is there a notably like sizable company in this arena that has been able to survive?
Plex is also known for shutting down the YARM80 Plex library subscription services that people kind of homebrew. So this just seems like them like taking out the middleman and creating an environment where people can subscribe to... Dude, how is this a thing?
I don't know. But I don't understand how it's been a thing forever, so I don't know.
Okay. Plex has no way to know if you own it or not. Yeah, but in many regions, whether you own it or not is irrelevant because you don't have a license to rebroadcast it, so it doesn't matter. You own a license to use that disc in your disc player and watch it for yourself. That's all you own a license for. Or if you have one of those ultraviolet or UV or whatever that thing was, the digital thing that like I think got shut down, so people just like lost their... Anyway, that's all you own. Abort, stop talking about it.
It's going to get nuked.
This seems completely insane. I don't...
But to me, I mean, with the friends thing, Dan's talking about stuff, like, this has seemed insane for so many years.
It's always been insane.
I don't know. I don't understand. I've never understood how they exist.
They didn't host anything.
But they know stuff.
But they didn't host it.
But it's...
Napster knew stuff. I mean,
Napster got obliterated.
No, hold on. No, did Napster host? I can't remember.
Pirate Bay used to host, and now basically all they do is magnet links. So they don't have anything but links, right?
Right. So, okay, so what's the Plex? Yeah, don't go on the Pirate Bay. So what's the Plex like analog for that? Their app, man, I'm trying to wrap my brain around how they could possibly defend this, because I know for a fact that part of their metadata includes like the actual file name, right? Like it's, and it'll have stuff like I'm trying to think of like a.
But is this a service that's running on your end that's like looking up IMDb and comparing it against your file name and then making small changes, but it's not phoning back home to Plex? Because that could absolutely be a thing. This is what I assumed it was.
I know the UI shows the original file name in Plex.
Yeah, so it could be.
Yeah, they offer a service to match the identified video with a real title. But is that just
happening on your side?
Oh, they also...
it could tap into like some IMDb API or something.
It also might just download occasionally, and it's just like a reference locally, as you say.
If you configure it, they absolutely do video analysis of the video itself, because that's how they do their intro skip feature.
But is that happening locally?
Yeah, that would be happening locally.
Yeah. So as long as it's not phoning home, they probably don't care. This is the point that I'm saying is on a surface level, it makes no sense.
How about this? What if someone
have to not log things?
What if someone had on their Plex server a file that has simply never existed outside of a streaming platform? Then there'd be no plausible deniability. The fact that it has a metadata match for it at all means.
But they don't have to log it.
But they do, though. They know that you and your friend accessed it, because they know that you accessed that content that would have no legal way of existing there.
So where do they know that again? I don't use this. So how do you? So
every once in a while, I will fire up something that my now deceased sister watched, and it'll be like activity from Emma, and that was synced to me via the cloud, because her account is friends with my account, and we both watch that content on my server.
I wonder if they have some interesting way where they've done this, where like your information is stored on your device, and it gets like shared over, but in a way that Plex doesn't store it. Like,
that's
Is
possible.
it super live? Like, is it?
That I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder.
I mean, they used to have Watch Together. I wonder if that's why Watch Together is going away.
Maybe.
I don't know that for sure.
Even Watch Together, I can think of ways that you could dev it where it doesn't have to share anything other than raw information about like time code in the video and stuff like that. Like it wouldn't have to actually share the video. Because like a lot of Watch Together services that used to work through YouTube and stuff, they're not man in the middling YouTube. They're just syncing up your time code and stuff. Like it's there are other ways to do these things. They just have to really go out of their way to do them. But it is still stunning to me that despite all of that, Plex has been able to get away with these things. Like my opinion on that's never going to change. But I do think there are ways for them to not log any of this information. There's a way around it. It might not be the most efficient, might not be the easiest, etc., but it's possible for them to do it.
People are asking, is it P2P? Yes. Generally it is. Other than when port forwarding isn't configured correctly, then it seems like they set up some kind of encrypted tunnel that would have to go through them in some way. Let's see. Hold on. There was someone else that had a good comment. Steve says, "How do they send these monthly emails showing what my friends are watching, though?" Hold on. We're not actually done yet. They are removing the mobile unlock fee.
I don't know, man.
Playing content on a local network on the new mobile app will be free. Okay, so that's cool. Public release coming early 2025. They're also revising their terms of service and privacy policy. Mostly legal boilerplate, miscellaneous typo, grammar fixes, and an explainer for how Plex treats universal opt-out mechanisms, but it seems like they will be selling user data, mostly focused around advertising. Updated, who does Plex share or sell personal data with, to include the Plex activity that you share based on your account visibility and activity settings, as well as sharing/sale of certain personal data to third parties. They claim multiple times that they will not be collecting or selling content data.
Yeah, there's a point in their TOS here. We do not and will not collect information about content or titles in your personal media library or what you've played.
Yeah, they have to not. So when those emails go out, like, are those being generated by you?
I have no idea. It might be coming from the Plex server, but I don't have a relay set up for that. The second point after that is personal media users. We do not, in all capitals, and will not share or sell any information about the content and titles on or your use of a personal media server.
Oh, little JD97 says, all they would need to do is run a stun service to help connect users peer-to-peer. In that case, no content goes through them. It's not a tunnel. Okay. Man, I mean, good luck, Plex. Honestly, other than the selling of user data, rug pull, super not impressed with that. I don't know if any of the other stuff seems that egregious to me in the grand scheme of things, especially now that free open source options are so much more mature than they used to be. I could see people being really angry back when the options were like Air Video and this. I could see people being really upset about it. As it is now, at least if you are upset about it, you absolutely have valid options that you can jump to. So I would say that would be the way to show Plex your dissatisfaction, is to vote with your wallet. Or if you are committed to Plex and you don't want to learn to use anything else, I'd say now is a good time to pick up the lifetime Plex Pass, because the new subscription rates are not great. Not going to lie. And I do think that the value is still there, even if their functionality is pretty broken a lot of the time. Like I think I talked last week about how I tried to prep some episodes of a show, and I tried to download a whole season, and like one or two of the episodes failed, and there was no way to retry just those episodes. I had to delete everything I had already downloaded. Ugh. And then reattempt it. And then that reattempt completely failed. It's like, okay, great. All right.
What are we doing?
I don't know.
What topic was this?
That was Plex's increase in pricing. If you wanted to. There are
others in it. Okay. We can talk about this.
Sure. The new God of War TV series showrunner says he's not a gamer. Amazon is investing in 2 seasons of a new God of War show. It was greenlit in 2022, and the plot is based on the 2018 game. Original writers brought in to kickstart the writing process left in 2024. Always a good sign. Ron Moore is the new showrunner, and he has a lot of good experience. IMDb examples include producer on 77 episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation from 1991 to 1994. Producer, showrunner on 74 episodes of Battlestar Galactica from 2004 to 2009. Executive producer and producer on 85 episodes of Outlander 2014 to 2024. But he has admitted to not playing anything since the arcade days. Fans are upset and worried that he will ruin it by not respecting the source material. He hasn't said anything about how faithful the adaptation will be. A lot of recent adaptations have not respected the source material. A couple of examples we have here are The Wheel of Time, The Witcher, The Rings of Power, and Halo.
I didn't even give The Rings of Power the time of day. The Witcher stuff pissed me off. The Wheel of Time stuff pissed me off. And the Halo stuff just straight up enraged me.
I knew it. I knew the word. I knew the word that was coming.
that was quite the call out, actually.
I knew it. There was no way he was going to use any word other than that.
That was kind of nuts. It's true though. Yeah. Anyways.
Now maybe this was misreporting. It's not in our notes, but I saw something that said that he was instructed by the bigwigs to not play the game.
Oh,
is that true, guys? Please let me know, because I saw that he mentioned that he tried to play it a little bit, but ran into some QuickTime events and found it kind of hard.
I also I think you said this, but I agree with it, where it's like, if he's not really a gamer, I don't think that's actually a problem, but watching a Let's Play or something like that, I think would be fine. Yeah.
No, apparently he tried the game and gave up, says Steve.
Which is fine, I think.
Which is fine. I would say that as long as
you still need to absorb the material somehow.
Yeah, as long as you go on Twitch or YouTube and watch a Let's Play or something like that.
I don't care if the director's a gamer, but I do care that the director understands what it is so that they can represent it properly.
It
respectfully.
It enrages me when the whole reason that you paid for IP, right, is that people love the source material, and then you just go throw it in the garbage. Now, that doesn't mean that there's only one right way to do this. I mean, we've absolutely seen we have absolutely seen fan showrunners just completely destroy franchises. We've seen, Riley points out that non-fans can make top franchise entries like Tony Gilroy with Andor for Star Wars. I also have a personal favorite example of a company, in this case DreamWorks, paying to license an IP, completely changing functionally everything, and it being awesome. How to Train Your Dragon is
happened.
Legitimately, if not my favorite movie of all time, one of my favorite movies of all time. It is nothing like the books. And it definitely struggles. The film series does struggle as time goes on to continue to develop the story, whereas the books stay strong throughout the entire thing.
Yeah. One of my examples, and I read this, I don't know a ton about it. I haven't watched the show, but I read this. Invincible, apparently they have the writer working on the show, but the show does not match the comics. And the writer, seems to be doing this on purpose, and the purpose seems to be I can do this better. Because people are very happy with the show.
Okay.
And it seems to be just I got a second shot at this, I can fix some things, basically. So it's not respecting the source material, but it's being done by the writer. So and it seems to be better.
So dewbacks and random song numbers?
No.
But better, right?
Yeah.
Did you know that in How to Train Your Dragon books, Toothless is pocket-sized?
No.
Yeah?
I had no idea.
Yeah.
That's a pretty dramatic change.
Oh, dude, no, it's completely different. What's her name? The love interest? Astrid? Doesn't exist.
Oh. That's weird. She's
Yeah.
a good part of the show.
Yep. Oh, yeah, no, 100%.
By the way, apparently he officially said that he's a better writer now, so he's making changes to the show.
Dragons?
Sure.
They're not at war with dragons at the start of the books.
Huh.
They just dragons are just integrated into their life. Every kid has a dragon.
Wow.
They are. I don't even know why they bothered to license the IP.
Just do it.
Because they could have changed the names Hiccup and Toothless and a handful of other character names and just made a show about.
And it would have been fine.
Yeah, and I really don't think they would have been nailed on it. It is they are nothing alike.
Respecting the source material doesn't mean matching it. Yeah, that's fair. I think people interpreted it that way, but I think you're also right. I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Ilindi says they bought a fan base. I don't know. Yeah, I guess I'd never heard of the books.
Me neither. I
Until
don't think the fan base was enormous.
the movies.
And it's DreamWorks. They're going to get viewers.
Yeah, interesting. I don't know. Either way, that it's my favorite movie.
Moving on. Good
yeah,
enough.
good luck, Amazon.
Microsoft posts then removes an image of the Xbox UI with Steam games included. Earlier this year, Microsoft talked about combining the best of Xbox and Windows, and this week they briefly showed what looked like it might be that. Microsoft posted an image of new Xbox UI on multiple devices that included a Steam button, but then pulled the image down when The Verge asked about it. And Xbox chief Phil Spencer has previously hinted that PC stores like Epic Games and itch.io could one day appear on Xbox consoles. Interesting. Now you just need to make the Xbox store on PC not horrible. That would be pretty cool. I would appreciate that.
Okay. That's kind of all I have to say about that.
Neat.
What else we
Roku
got?
confirms experiment showing an ad before the home screen. On Sunday, March 16th, Roku users noticed ads being played on startup before being taken to the home screen. Complaints started popping up on the forum. This occurred on both Roku TVs and streaming sticks, and multiple users reported seeing an ad for Mona 2. A Roku spokesperson shared a company statement confirming that this is expected behavior, but not a permanent part of the Roku OS currently. They claim they were just trying the ad capability out. Roku did not respond when asked to comment on the community backlash, whether this would become a permanent feature, which devices are affected, or why they decided to use auto-playing ads. We have an upcoming video on a dumb TV we found. Stay tuned. Ugh. Discussion question. I know Linus hates ads. If this happened on your beloved TCL, would you get rid of it for another brand?
I don't know if I hate ads.
You don't see them.
Yeah, I can't really see them.
Ad blindness.
To be clear, sometimes I do see them, but I also will just like maybe part of it is just the ADD, because I don't really have a
You'll
problem.
see an ad, be uninterested, and then just be thinking about something else.
Yeah, like I'll just like brain warp to something else for a little bit, and then be peripherally aware that something's going on that is not
What
to
you
my
want.
interests, and then I'll be back to it when, like, it depends how long it is. If it was like
Portal out, portal back.
if it was 3 seconds, like if it was as long as the TCL splash screen, which I no longer have to look at, then I don't think it would really bother me. But if my TV tried to play like a 30-second ad every time I turned it on, I think I would probably put my foot through it for real this time.
Yeah. I would just
think
stop
I'm ready
having
to
a
eat some
TV, I
jerky.
think.
Sorry, everyone.
This feels like a direction we have been going with TVs. It
Sweet.
feels like it's actively getting worse. And like a lot worse.
Sweet and hot sounds good. I actually have no idea what the deal is with this, other than that they're on set and I've been told that I'm allowed to eat them.
They're on set and you're allowed to eat them.
Is that the whole thing? It seems like they got awfully prominent placement for just they're
Yeah.
on set and I'm allowed to eat them. Is it like, do we need to
Eat them.
like disclose anything here?
I would really dramatically prefer we were informed of these things. But anyways, Windows Update uninstalls Copilot and users rejoice. Mandatory update. I'm going to say the whole thing. It's in the. I'm going to say it. KB 5053598, released on March 11th, has proven to be a major headache for Microsoft, with Windows users reporting installation feature failures, RDP disconnects, and even blue screens on Windows 11 24H2. But to some users' delight, it's also removing Copilot from some machines and even unpinning it from the taskbar. Also impacted are Windows 11 23H2, 22H2, and even Windows 10 22H2 and 21H2. A Microsoft support document states that they're aware of the issue and working on a resolution. The Windows 11 subreddit seems to be pretty happy about the bug, calling it the best update from Microsoft in a long time, and praising Microsoft for fixing their own bloat.
Windows 10 is coming up on its like EOL.
Oh yeah, sure is.
Isn't that crazy?
Yep.
And I think we're planning some content. I think I'm going to forget what it was, but I came across a headline recently that some game or something runs better on Windows 10 than Windows 11, like still after all this time.
Not surprised.
Man, I when we do our customary, hey, is it good that this is going away? Because we've kind of done that for Windows 7, Windows 8. We've kind of looked back on them.
Windows 11 is a bit of a rough ship.
Windows 10 really does seem like it was a high point, hey? Like I don't personally have day-to-day issues with Windows 11. Personally, it doesn't get in my way.
Usability-wise, I don't mind it. One of my problems is compatibility stuff. Like the deprecation of Windows 10 will force some people to either have unsecured systems or buy a new computer. And I think this is like the first time in a very long time that that's been true. So that's rough. A lot of the world, it's very hard to just buy a new computer. And Windows 10 computers, for the most part, by that time, can do the vast majority of things people need to do on computers. Can even play a lot of modern games.
Okay.
Just fine.
Hear me out. Does this drive a Linux migration?
Maybe, genuinely.
Like if SteamOS capitalizes on this.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're planning on, they're still not out, right?
Not out yet.
But they're planning on it.
I mean, it's already, I believe the beta version now supports other handhelds. I don't think we're fully at, Valve saying, yep, here's SteamOS, install it on your computer and plug your monitor in and just use it as a computer. We're not there yet. But so they've telegraphed that it's coming. It's coming eventually.
The year of the Linux desktop might be
the death of Windows 10.
The year of Linux desktop might not be brought in by Linux. It might be brought in by Microsoft shooting themselves. Sure. I mean, yeah. Why not, right? It seems reasonable to me because people are going to start getting crazy warnings on their systems that they have to upgrade to Windows 11, and then they'll check and their system will say that they are not compatible and they cannot upgrade. And a lot of people aren't going to want to buy a new computer. Because, again, these things are fine. If you do, basic photo editing, basic video editing, text stuff, web browsing, your computer back from Windows 10 era is for sure still okay.
Are we going to end up with another XP situation where Microsoft kicks the can down the road because they realize that the users just aren't going to get on board with it? Yeah. And there's going to be a whole bunch of unsecure systems out there.
I mean, there absolutely will be if they do this.
Yeah, there 100% will be, because people are not just going to replace working computers until they run into they go to install Chrome or they go to install Steam. Steam dropped support for Windows Vista not that long ago. So it's going to be a long time before just the applications you absolutely must use every day start not working on your Windows 10 system. But that will happen.
Didn't we say the same thing for the Windows 7 to Windows 10 deadline? I don't think so.
We certainly didn't say anything about SteamOS. Yeah. SteamOS didn't exist yet at that point.
And I mean, there are a surprising amount of people still running Windows 7. So if that's what we were saying, then yeah, I mean, it's still a thing.
That's wild, dude. I'm rooting for them. I'm rooting for Linux. I'm not ready to daily it as long as just there's anti-cheat issues and compatibility issues and whatever else, but I'm so rooting for it.
When SteamOS is installable, I want to try it. 100%.
It is installable. You can install it today.
On your desktop?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't.
We did a video recently.
Oh.
Yeah, tell me you don't watch LTT without telling me you don't watch LTT.
I watched some of it, okay?
I
watched some of it.
I know you do. Yeah, Jordan installed it, and you know what? Your system won't work. You have to use a Radeon GPU.
Oh.
Yeah. So no, it's not ready
some
yet.
Limitations.
Yep. The installer needs some work. It does not support installing with more than one drive in the system. Oh. It just automatically wipes because it's like a system restore image, effectively. It's for the Steam Deck.
It's very designed for the Steam Deck.
Yes, absolutely.
That makes sense.
So give it time. But I think it's going to happen. We've got some more stuff. Oh, Bigscreen Beyond 2 and 2E launch. Kind of a big deal. This has been killing me. I've had mine for 2 weeks. I have not touched it because I have been traveling. I could have traveled virtually.
Would you do that on the plane?
Oh, no, it's PC VR.
Oh.
Tether.
Outside in.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I am very excited. Adam was telling me about it today.
I am actually very, very stoked.
How much are they?
It brings an overhaul to the optics that increases the field of view from 102 to 116 degrees, increases brightness, increases the sweet spot, reduces lens glare, adds adjustable interpupillary distance using a little tool, adds new headgear and a universal face gasket, has clear and translucent orange colors, and the 2E gets eye tracking.
It has translucent orange?
And they somehow made it even lighter.
Oh, it does have translucent orange. No way.
I'm glad I procrastinated on the first one.
It is down to 107 grams, down from 127.
Dude, they made one for you.
So even... Nice.
Look.
That really does look like
Compare
an
that
LTT
to your
edition.
jacket.
If you get one, it'll match your reversible bomber, which you can get right now on LTTStore.com.
Oh, look at Dan.
Let's go.
Look at him go.
Even if you add the audio strap, which that picture I was showing you guys had, the whole thing is just 272 grams.
Dang.
That's just over half the weight of a Quest 3. Adam has some usage impressions. He says, I only used it for roughly an hour so far, but the improvements to the optics are massive. Improved FOV is awesome. Reduction in flare and chromatic aberration was notable, even without a side-by-side comparison. Bummed about the lack of improvement to DisplayPort. We're still stuck with 75 or 90 hertz with DSC, but not sure if that's a limitation of the USB standard. Haven't looked into anything at all yet. So these are very preliminary. And it seems that these new features have made many enthusiasts pull out their wallet because Bigscreen says they've sold more of the Beyond 2 in the first day than they did in the first 6 months with the original. Bigscreen apparently sent us some desk pads that they made using the...
What?
Oh, lordy.
Using what?
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted it so bad.
This is the scan for the custom fit gasket, which does still exist, even though they have a universal one now.
Oh my goodness. I kind of want one of these.
Incredible.
I want one too. They should sell that on the store. You should do a collaboration.
I meant the headset.
Discussion question here is, how stoked are you about this, and are we going to do a video? Very stoked, and we're absolutely going to do a video. Both Adam and I will be playing with it and contributing to our review.
They sell a can that you can store it in, and it looks like a pop can.
That's pretty cool.
That's hilarious.
I mean,
I don't know why I like that so much.
yeah, I don't know what I would use that for. I mean, it's like a tethered setup, so unless it also holds my lighthouses.
Well, no, I'm assuming so it like protects it because it's really light and somewhat fragile, isn't it?
I mean, anything with sensitive optics is going to be fragile, at least to a degree. So yeah, I can see that.
understand someone wanting to use it as like a way to protect it.
All right, what else we got? You were really excited to talk about GTC.
Real? Oh. I didn't go. Do you know that?
No.
I went to GDC, which happens 1 hour away at the exact same time. And nothing happened. Nothing happened at all.
Oh, bummer. Well, you shouldn't have done that then.
Nothing was announced there. Nothing happened there.
I thought you went to GTC.
We went to go to the actual GDC event, not just the NVIDIA side thing. We didn't even have the right badges. The badge that we had didn't gain us access until after we flew away. So we went to one thing and there was literally nothing there. And we went to, but there's that side event we can go to. We'll go check that out too. And there was literally nothing there either. I was talking to Wendell the whole time. I was like, hey, do you want to meet up sometime? And he's like, yeah, I'm like going here. I was like, cool. That's not where I am. And then I was like, oh, we must be here because, there's nothing happening on down there. And they were like, oh, yeah, it's just enterprise stuff. And then they launched, I understand it is an enterprise GPU, but they launched a 96 gig VRAM GPU. That's crazy. Would have covered that.
400 to 600 watts TDP.
I was in the wrong
PCIe 5.
place.
There's a slimmer Max-Q variant from
Why
LTT
was I at
builds.
GDC?
Cool.
All the cool stuff happened at GTC.
Man, how much is this thing going to cost?
I think like
RTX Pro 6000. Why didn't they just keep the Quadro
15
name?
grand at least.
They could have just called it Quadro RTX, and then we would have all known what we're talking about. Anyway,
there's a flow plane video going over probably one of the least successful trips I've ever been on. If you want to see it,
cool.
It's there.
Speaking of Wendell, I'm reading a book that he recommended to me. It's salt, sugar, fat, sugar, salt, fat, whatever it's called. It's those three ingredients, and it's basically about how the food industry throughout the 90s,
just
and
like
before,
like one of the biggest scams in the world. The
basically
food pyramid.
just like no, not the food. Oh, it's way. Oh, dude, it's way more insidious than that. It's like way worse.
It's bad though. Yeah.
I'm like a quarter of the way through it, and I'm like, oh, so like, is this what spurred like your like massive weight loss program and everything, because he's looking pretty fly these days. I didn't actually ask him if that's what spurred it, and that's just speculation, but it's very eye-opening.
Yeah. Can you explain what GTC and GDC are and their differences? Yeah, sure. They're 1 hour away from each other. One of them is in San Francisco, one of them is in San Jose. GDC, they have the same first letter, same last letter, and an extremely similar sounding middle letter. GDC is Game Developers Conference. GTC is Graphics Technology Conference. They're completely different things. We were brought to GDC and show nothing. And things happened at GTC, and we weren't there. It was very cool. Yes, it was great.
Also at GTC, the Project Digits Mini PC is now the DGX Spark, with a Founders Edition or OEM versions from Asus, Dell, and HP. Compact power-efficient form factor, GB10 chip with 1,000 AI TOPS, Blackwell architecture, 128 gigabytes of unified memory for up to 200 billion parameters, and a pre-installed AI software stack. You can connect two together to work with models up to 405 billion parameters. Very cool. And also,
5 billion parameters.
Also, they announced DGX Station, a desktop-sized motherboard with a new Blackwell Ultra GB300. So it's kind of like a beefed-up version of Spark.
Huh.
It has a GB300 Grace Blackwell Ultra Desktop Super Chip, up to 784 gigs of coherent memory. So if you can afford it, this will be a serious blow to the Mac Mini that everyone's just basically, or Mac Mini, excuse me, the Mac Studio that everyone's using for AI right now. Has a ConnectX
SLI.
8 Super NIC for up to 800 gigabit per second. NVLink C2C, or I guess that's chip-to-chip, for high bandwidth data transfer between processors and accelerators. And NVIDIA's DGX OS and AI software stack. Pretty cool.
That's nuts.
Also, Beltrix says coherent memory. Memory coherency. I'm trying to remember exactly what that means.
See, like I could talk about this stuff if we were there. That would have been cool. That would have been sweet.
Yeah, that would have been super cool. I don't want to explain memory coherency without looking it up first, because it's been a little while, but basically,
I don't want to do this. I'm going to do it anyways.
Yeah.
Just don't do it.
Sure, fine.
You're just going to get quoted.
Basically means better performance. There.
Good.
Yep.
Vera CPU will be NVIDIA's first with fully custom ARM cores instead of off-the-shelf core designs. Vera CPU has 88 custom ARM cores, 176 threads, combines with Rubin GPU for, I thought it said Very at first. I thought it said Very Rubin. Vera Rubin 2026, 2 GPUs, 50 PF, FP4, 288 gigabytes of HBM4. Yoicks. Crazy time.
Yeah, so in a nutshell, better performance across multiple processors.
This stuff is all very expensive.
Do we have pricing?
No, but I promise you.
Well,
every single thing announced down there is going to be like very premium.
Didn't they say Spark was going to be like a few grand or something like that?
I think so.
If Spark's a few grand, then DGX Station is going to be
absurd,
like over 10. So,
and people are going to buy it for sure.
100%. 100%.
For sure.
I mean, we picked up one of the new Mac Studios with the top memory configuration because Nick from the lab said that they would use it. So I was like, we need one for a review anyway. So I guess we will definitely use it. Let's do it. Yep. I mean, that was like $9,000 or something like that. So there'd be no reason for NVIDIA to price anything below that. That's for sure. No. Yeah. Okay. Is that it for topics? Oh, no. Pebble Founders' new company releases Core 2 Duo. Love the name. Why are people upset about this? Some people are upset about this. I think it's dumb. His new company... the name or the product? Some people are upset about the product. I mean, not the name. Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, no, I'm not upset about the product. Anyway, the new company is called Core Devices, and he's opened pre-orders for 2 new PebbleOS devices. The Core Time 2 with a 1.5-inch color e-paper touchscreen, and the... E-paper. Core 2 Duo, a 1.2-inch black and white e-paper screen. Prices start at $149 US. The Core 2 Duo name explains the whole idea. says founder Eric Mijukovsky. It's like a Pebble 2, but it's made by Core Devices. And then Duo is for do-over. Okay. It's expected to start shipping in July of this year, with the Core Time 2 slated to follow in December. The Pebble founder also made a long blog post detailing how Apple users will experience less functionality and lays responsibility solely on Apple, who restricts third-party watches for security reasons. For example, third-party watches cannot send texts or iMessages, take actions on notifications, detect if you are using your phone. Mijukovsky suggests contacting your elected representatives to support relevant legislation if you want to see proper iPhone support in the future. Our discussion question here is, are you ready to give up your iPhone for a better Pebble experience? Yes. I'm gonna daily it, 100%. I'm so ready.
Not surprised.
I'm super ready.
Yeah.
I want the color one though. Like I had a Pebble Time like 1,000 years ago that had a color display. I'm not going to go back to a black and white display.
Isn't the black and white one cheaper?
Yeah. Well, no. The black and white one came out first, like originally.
No, I mean out of the new ones.
Oh yeah, it's cheaper.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
But like,
doesn't mean you have to get the cheaper one.
I'm just saying the color one. I think.
I don't think it necessarily doesn't have market fit. Just might not be.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah. If it's super affordable, then that's cool. If people just want a minimalist thing, like that was the whole idea. Like back in the day.
Yeah.
Here, let's go ahead and I want to see it though. Do they look any good?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, cool. Okay. Yeah, sure.
Good.
Looks good. Got some
nice,
buttons.
Chunky buttons. I like my
buttons
I
can
buttons.
press with gloves. I love to see it.
These having nice, good, chunky actual buttons makes me actually want one, and I don't want smartwatches. And I'm not going to get one because I would lose it in 2 days. But I really like the buttons. Makes me happy.
Okay. Is it after dark time?
There is one.
I just don't think I care.
Cool. Nice. Then yes.
Neat.
Let's go.
He's doing it. Let's watch him do
These
it.
are retro futures.
He's not doing anything.
Wow.
Oh, got him.
We got owned. We got owned pretty bad there, actually. Dang.
Does nothing.
Dang.
These guys.
Dang.
Hi, WAN.dll. Normally I preloaded, but you skipped the last topic, so I was behind. I'm sorry. Hi, WAN.dll. I know Luke has played FTL, but have you played Multiverse? The best thing in PC gaming are those mods that keep adding gameplay.
Oh, FTL Multiverse, the mod. Yes, I have. Yeah. It seems really cool. I wasn't way too into it. I don't know if it's configurable. Maybe it's configurable. I find sometimes with mods, they kind of do too much. And I felt that way with Multiverse personally. I'm not trying to dissuade anyone from trying it. It's very cool. I'm happy that I did try it. But it was just kind of a lot. Like I installed it and jumped in and was like, whoa, where'd my game go? You know, like that wasn't really what I was looking for. But it's a pretty wild mod. I'm happy someone made it, and I'm happy people enjoy it. It's just, I don't know. I liked it how it was.
You're getting called out for ending your segments with I don't know, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that. And I'm going to keep doing it because it's my insurance against people that go after you.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can kind of see that. But also, I don't know.
Everyone's way too serious about everything these days. That if you say something, they have automatically decided that you will die on the hill for what you just said. And it's like, no, this is a 4-hour thing where I like 25% care about whatever I'm saying at any given time. Like, this is not...
He only has 1 hour of care. Like, the original WAN show was about an hour.
Yeah.
And we've taken that exact same amount of care.
And it extrapolated over 4 hours.
Yeah.
Like, no, leave me alone. So I'll say something and then just be like, I don't know. Because I'm just like, leave me alone.
We've got the same amount of margarine, okay? We got 4 pieces of toast and it's still not butter.
Yeah. He's awake now. He's doing it. But this is just like, man, like I could replace it with, but I don't care. But they're not going to like that as much. So it's, I don't know.
Look, guys, we never cosplayed as journalists. So
But it's just like, seriously, it's a like, leave me the F alone disclaimer that I put on the end of things. I'm not like actually that uncertain about so many things. I don't care.
I think you should speak with more conviction. I don't know.
but I don't know. Well, you do your own thing.
I don't know.
And like, I don't even disagree with you. I don't care. It's WAN show. I don't want to deal with something. I don't know. Maybe I should have added to the placebo conversation we had a few weeks ago. I don't know. Maybe I didn't, and that's why we ended up in crap.
Hold on, I'm being called a bastard by one of our regular commenters in Floatplane chat. Dyslexic Stoner 240. Oh, Dyslexic Stoner 240 says, this is f***ing entertainment. You guys don't do anything stupid like call yourselves journalists. Yeah, I missed that. But you know what? I think you actually said it before I said it, so
I think he wins.
Good work.
I think he got you.
You win.
But yeah, like that placebo thing. Maybe I didn't add the I don't know to the end of it.
Yeah, you should.
It's like, why are you listening to some tech podcast and like blindly taking medical advice?
Here's a question.
Google it.
Is this even a tech podcast?
Not really.
I think the tech is more the carrier.
Yeah. It's the bread for the peanut butter and jam.
Yeah.
And it's Wonder Bread.
Yeah. Like,
sometimes hey, look,
really
sometimes
not
you get
serious.
an artisanal sourdough.
Sometimes we have some meat. Sometimes we have some tech meat.
Sure.
Okay. Sometimes we have other meat. The point is, I don't think that's actually why people tune into the WAN show.
No,
and we've talked about this.
I guarantee you it's not.
Because we have had off the air conversations many times where I expressed kind of my disbelief that the WAN show is our lowest production value property, that we probably didn't have one bread slice worth of cares to spread over it back when it was an hour long. Yeah. But people tuned into it. And it was him that finally kind of convinced me that it had a value. And that was just like hanging out and like kind of talking about tech.
Yeah.
Sometimes, but also not.
Maybe we talk about other things.
Because I don't think I have any friends in my life or anyone that I have a relationship with that I would want to talk to about the exact same thing every time I talk to them.
Yeah.
And so it took me a long time to kind of figure out why the WAN show works. It's because of Dan.
I love how he frantically pressed, I think, backspace at the same time. It's like the loudest key inputs you've had all night.
No, that was just me shaking my head violently.
Oh, that was just the headphone. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Nice.
But
that's kind of you guys. Yeah.
It's because off. That's why I say, I don't know. That's why. That is entirely why. It's because I'm just tired of it. I've told people before, after every WAN show, and I'm going to keep doing it, and I don't care. And if you want to abuse it, do it. I don't care. I'm going to keep doing it. I control F for my name, and I look for stuff. And some people use that, and they'll just say my name like 4 times and be like, sorry, I just wanted to like get this message. Sure.
Say his name, say his
I'm not
name.
going to respond to all of them, but I'll do that because I'm not going to read every comment. Oh my God. But I'll look for some of them because if something's like important, I do want to fix it.
I feel called out right now.
But,
and he didn't even say, I don't
time,
know. He didn't even say, I don't know. So that was full conviction. Now we're going to know. He's got to tell. Now we'll know when he adamantly believes something.
But
I'm writing a rant post right now about the brewing animosity between these two.
If he's all like...
People are doing it in Floatplane chat. Oh
yeah, so then there was this one time when Linus's narcissistic behavior was on full display. And he just leaves it right there. And there's no, I don't know.
I don't know.
Then I would feel something if I wasn't such a sociopath. Dan, do you want to give us another merch message?
But yeah, I hate when I do that and I find stuff that's like a correction on something that just like deeply doesn't matter. And like actually, this part has shown through sometimes. Because someone, like, I'll say something, and then I correct myself, and then Floatplane corrects me, and then I'm like, yeah, I know, and I correct it again, and then people just keep poking, and people will see that I, like, get really annoyed by it, and there will be comments being like, oh, you shouldn't let that get under your skin so much. And I'm like, yeah, the problem is, because I deal with this constantly, and I deal with this probably, like, 2% as much as he does, so I don't know how he deals. I almost swore again. I don't know how he deals with it. So it's
your
just
mom
like
watches this show. You got to watch your tongue.
Yeah, I do. But it's like man, and like issuing corrections, good when they matter.
Yeah, and I think this correction mattered. Are we talking about the one
Which
today?
one?
Oh, okay.
Oh no, that one mattered.
Okay,
Sure,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
I'm just talking more universally. Like,
Sure.
I don't know. Sometimes it's just like, guys, get off the internet for a second, maybe.
Amaria has a proposal.
It's not that deep.
You could just do a blanket, I don't know, at the end of the show. Like, I don't know, bye.
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
It's not bad.
That's not
It's
bad.
not bad. But it would be a
That's
nice.
pretty
It would be a nice in joke for the. Casper Explorer says, Luke, 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 Luke. Luke, 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 Luke. Luke, 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 Luke.
Yeah.
Luke, 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 Luke. Luke, 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 Luke. Luke, 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 Luke. Did you ever use the Think phone?
No.
Okay, cool. Dan, do you want to hit us with another merch message?
Sure. I also added some text as a disclaimer on screen at all times now.
Can I have one too? Can I have one too?
Yeah, sure.
Do you want to make it like slightly like
Just give me a second here.
unsure? Or you just copy paste it. It's
I could have doesn't care.
that's not bad. That's not bad. Doesn't know and doesn't care. Oh man.
Position.
Someone's gonna do. Did you see that every word from the WAN show in alphabetical order video? Someone's gonna do that, but with this episode, you're just gonna say Luke like a million times. I didn't see that coming at all. Oh my god. Oh wow.
Okay. Okay, Dan, hit me.
Hey, bad cholesterol. Question for Luke. I don't know. As a machine learning researcher, I was surprised that you said you'd never used macOS, since most people I know in the field use that or Linux. Why?
I just don't like it. And I mean the Mac Minis and stuff are like amazing. And by never use, see this person's great, but this is my point. By never use, I didn't mean literally never use. I meant I've never like mainlined it. Like I've used it. I have used it. I just mean it's not like running on any of the computers that I daily. That's what I meant by that. And it never has. I've never dailied a Apple operating system. And that's what I meant by that. So I'm not going after this person, but this is what I mean by when I had, I don't know. It's just the like, there's probably 17 different ways to interpret what I just said, and most of them are wrong.
You'd be a terrible witness. Terrible. Where were you on the night of January 32nd?
I was probably at home doing whatever, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Actually,
you are going
you
to
just
jail.
said January 32nd.
You are going
That's
to jail.
impossible, because I actually know exactly where I was on January 31st. Accurately. I know for sure.
Did I say January 32nd?
I think you said 32nd. Am I wrong?
Well, it's
I don't
January.
know.
It's January 32nd
know.
somewhere. I just crossed time zones.
Apparently you did, but I don't know.
Cool.
We'd have to watch the tape back.
And it's amazing that I was functional. He flashed it.
Maybe I'll just turn these into buttons for you guys.
Having a narcissist button for life would be hilarious.
So, Luke, you got a narcissist button, and Linus gets a does not know button.
That would genuinely be so good. Oh my god.
No.
What are we even saying? Oh yeah. So I like I've used it. I don't know, something about. I've told this story before too. My mom had an Android phone for a long time. My mom had an Android
give me a
phone
minute
for a long
here.
time, and she struggled with it forever. And then she got an iPhone because she needed to, because she's working in the film industry and they use like AirDrop and a lot of things like that. And like within a day, she was way better with her iPhone than she ever was with her Android. It just clicked. I'm the opposite of that.
I find the iPhone just clunky and unintuitive.
Yeah. And that is similar to me with macOS. It just doesn't feel right. Something feels wrong. I find Linux easier to use than macOS. I'm not saying that's right. It just feels that weird to me.
I think a big part of the issue for me is just the slowness of the animations.
That feels really weird. I had to use I think you mentioned it in your review, but I had to backspace on something recently. A MacBook.
Oh, hold it down and it just like takes 1,000 years.
Speaking of never using macOS, I used a MacBook while I was on my trip because I had to write a script on one. Yeah. I went to backspace and I was just like, what's happening? Like, is the computer lagging out? Like, why is it so slow? That's just so weird. I don't know.
I'm sure there's some app that you can download that will fix it for you. Or whatever.
I don't know. And I'm not dogging on macOS. A bunch of people love it, and that's great. I genuinely have no issue. I am very used to Windows. When I run Linux, I like running Windows Mint because it feels Windows-esque to me. I'm very used to it. It's intuitive to me. That's all.
Eraldo, iOS does not have a settings button in the quick settings to jump to the full settings, but what they do have is the ability to bind any app. So what you can do is you can make an app.
Did I say Windows Mint?
Make a settings app link in your quick settings, and then it will go through the breadcrumbs for no apparent reason, because all I want to do is access my settings, and I was on my home screen before I started, so whatever. But yeah, no, that is a thing that you can do. And maybe this is me like being kind of snobby and Apple-y, but it actually bothers me a lot that it still bothers me that there isn't a settings one by default, because the settings cog is the only thing I care to have in there. And now the style doesn't match because it's in color.
Yeah, what the
And all the
heck?
rest of them are black and white.
That's so random.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay, I don't know. Whatever.
Test your button.
Oh yeah, buddy. Oh, let's go. I love it.
I can't make the narcissist one right now. It's too complicated.
Okay.
I could.
I'm sure. I have to do it manually like a pleb.
Shoot, there was a thing.
And sorry, I kind of dogged on the person who left that message. I was just explaining that is one of the cases why I had the I don't know.
And
that person was great.
People can't follow every little aspect of everything, and we don't expect that.
100%.
All I'm ever really asking for in this stuff is to not assume the worst.
Yes.
And that seems to be too much to ask for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Oh, our Archivic asks any update on the Labs lanyard. I don't, but I did send an email on my flight this very early in the morning asking for that to be followed up.
I will also say with the ask not to assume the worst thing, I kind of get it because there's a lot of bad things right now, but it's a very dark life to live when you assume that everything is bad. And I understand a lot of things are bad, but like just try to lift above that. Anyways.
Okay, a few more here. Luke, I'm 14 and starting a weight loss and muscle gain journey. Not a question. I have tried this before, but can't stick to it. Any tips?
What I've said in the past is that's probably because you're leaning on motivation instead of commitment or determination or whatever else. Motivation is very temporary. You have to find a way to make yourself do it, even when you don't want to. The only way you're ever going to be able to keep doing anything you want to do is if even when you don't want to do it, you do it anyways.
Like my only motivation for staying in shape is that I want to be good at badminton.
Yeah.
That's I want my score to be higher than the person on the other side of the court.
Mine is I just don't want to be broken, and when I'm say twice as old as I am now, I still want to be able to like move around and do things, and I have a decent amount of like problems from sports or whatever else. So I need to keep on top of it. I need to keep on top of it now, and I can never stop. I think I had this conversation with you not that long ago, where it's like going to the gym is not like a thing for me now. Going to the...
If he stops swimming, he dies.
I mean, sort of though. Like I have to keep on working out for the whole rest of my life. Like there is no, I'm just sort of interested in this now. I have to go all the time forever. And it's no longer a motivation thing. It started as a motivation thing.
Don't punch him in the nose. I hurt him.
But I had to convert it. And you'll have to find some way to convert it. It can't be motivation. It has to be a complete unwillingness to not do it. Yeah.
Dan, I'm going to need a separate button. Does know.
Non-negotiable.
Because he didn't. He said that with conviction.
Yeah.
I'm running out of pre-made ones to overwrite.
I believe in you.
Discipline is a good word for it. Yeah, I don't know if I said that or not. But
okay.
But yeah, you have to do it yourself. You said you're 14. This is cool that you're going after this now, but this is one of a really good time in your life to learn and to push yourself to do something without your parents pushing you, you know? I think at that point in your life, there's a lot of like, you know, you show up to every practice for the sport that you play because your parent gets you there. They get you up from whatever you're doing. They drive you. They do all this kind of stuff. Do this yourself.
Or find an accountability buddy.
That is also a very good way that can also help you get over the hump of the change from motivation to discipline.
Like if I ever don't feel like going to badminton, but like it's a group of 12 people or whatever.
They expect you to be there.
We booked 2 courts. So if I don't show up, everyone else is going to pay 8% more for the session and the numbers are going to be odd. So the rotations are going to be off.
Yeah. So find like a workout buddy, or even I had one remote for a while who was a buddy I knew online, and we had a check-in. And I don't need this anymore. I have the discipline now. I go all the time. But we had a check-in where you had to take a picture at the gym. It didn't have to be a nice picture. It could be a picture of the floor mats. It didn't even have to be of you, but you had to check in. I'm here. It had to be a unique picture every time. You have the metadata. It was taken, you know, like it's real. And they send you them back, and you check in with each other and make sure that you're actually doing it. There's multiple ways to do that. You might even be able to find one like through the LTT community somehow or something like that. I don't know. But there's...
they do the same thing.
See, the reason why I said I don't know there is like, they're 14. Damn. Maybe they shouldn't be. I don't know. I'm not sure. But all I'm saying is try to... You'll gain a ton from this if you... No, see, I know now. I'm being confident now. You'll gain a ton from this if you do it under your own volition and not as a drive from your parents. I think that'd be really good.
Yeah. Super cool. I'm glad you're thinking about it. But you got to do more than think about it. Let's go.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Keep it up.
Darn. Okay. Well, let's see. Hi, WAN.DLL. Linus, if you had destroyed the 5090 in the power connector video, what would you have done? Would you have published the video anyway?
No. I don't think there would have been anything to really say. The story arc was... there was no arcing. The story was, hey, we've got this thing that has a fundamentally flawed connector on it. What would have prevented them from just having an XT connector on either end? And obviously, we didn't put an XT connector on the power supply because we weren't going to go advocating for people opening up power supplies any more than we already have in the past. So we just, turned the cable into the connector that we needed, with a very secure attachment method. Man, I couldn't believe the war that started over soldering versus crimping connectors. Guys, that was just banter on set. Like, chill. It's all good. Anyway, the point is, the whole idea was, hey, would an alternate connector that isn't so close to the edge, would an alternate connector that doesn't have these kind of fundamental flaws in the design where everything gets combined into one, where you just have one big conductor, one big connector that mates really securely, would that just work fine? And could we have just done that in the first place? And it was more meant to be kind of amusing / comical. It was supposed to be kind of like a Top Gear solution, not a real solution. It's kind of like asking if their DIY electric car hadn't run, would they have published that episode? No, I think that you just keep going until the DIY car runs. I think we would have cut up another card, which I hadn't cleared with anybody yet, but that would have been what the executive decision would have ultimately been after the team discussed it.
There was at least one person in the labs that was like not excited about all that.
Nick,
we have a limited amount of 5090s.
Sorry, Nick.
And we need like a lot more.
Sorry, Nick.
By the way,
Sorry, Nick.
Like so many more.
My apologies to Nick.
We're talking about expanding the benches, so we have more
I
test
get it.
benches.
Look, how do I say this without it reflecting poorly on previous leadership?
You say I don't know afterwards.
Right. Okay, here, hold on a second.
I could just move it.
I never once denied a request for equipment to any previous management.
What are you doing? Oh, he's putting himself over there. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I didn't think it would get denied, which is kind of how I
Yeah, so
reassured
like it's
him.
fine.
was
Yeah,
we'll
if they
get
need
more.
something, we'll get it for them, of course.
Right now, it just sucks because I don't want to pay a bunch of scalpers.
Yeah.
So I want to buy the cards like legitimately, and that's just hard to do right now.
Like the whole thing,
But we'll replace it.
Linus is cheap and won't spend money on his business thing or whatever, came out of the Billet Labs thing, right? Which never had anything to do with the dollar value. That dollar value was just a number I threw out.
Yes.
And my whole
but
point,
it was an expense.
my whole point was that it just wasn't the point.
Yeah, it's just
And
worded in a way.
I get it.
You had
I
to
get
add
it.
the you had to add the thing.
Yeah, but it's not on my side right now.
Yeah.
Okay, move it over here.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, there you go. So my whole thing there was just that you're basically asking me for the fuel economy of a concept car that, you know, is upside, where the passengers or the driver's seat is upside down. Like, who cares?
Nice.
It was not going to impact ultimately anyone's decision to buy this product. It was not going to impact its viability in the market. And I ended up being right. That product got one limited production run and was never restocked once. It's not a real product. It was never a real product. They didn't seem to know that. But they figured it out eventually. It's not a real product. It has no viable market. And I understand why people were upset at what they felt was a lack of due diligence. But my point always was, even if it performs exactly like the manufacturer says,
I hear it's just though
it's not relevant.
You worded it.
I know.
Yeah.
No, because the way I worded it was, I'm not going to spend some dollar value, I forget
Yes.
what it was,
Yeah.
on testing this thing
$500 or
when it
something.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And people latched onto that dollar value as though that was the thing that mattered.
Bad wording. Yeah.
I spend $500 on this business without even, in fact, without even approving it. Like, what's your manager approval limit?
It's actually like, I think it's low.
What is it?
2,000.
Yeah. So literally,
There's a funny loophole though.
literally, I don't even have, this I do know. Literally, I do not even have to be involved in a decision to spend $500. I literally won't even know. It is utterly meaningless. The point,
Taryn doesn't even have to be
the
involved.
point of that amount of money, the point of me throwing out that amount was to demonstrate that I wouldn't spend anything to test it. It wasn't about the value. It wasn't about that at all. It wasn't about the money.
You know that I've had to seek approval to save money before? Because there was a monthly subscription, and I was like, we could move it to the yearly subscription and we'll save like 20% or something. But by moving it to the yearly subscription, it went above
your approval limit. Yeah.
So I had to
No, that
ask
actually does make sense. Because from a cash flow standpoint, in a business that was like managed on the edge,
I just think it's funny.
we can afford an annual subscription, and we typically tend to do that.
I just think it's funny.
Okay.
I also think it's funny that I sometimes have to like waste Taryn's time by asking for approval to like buy power supplies for a channel that has to test power supplies all the time.
Oh yeah, why do you have to do that?
Because sometimes we buy a batch of power supplies that's more than $2,000.
Got it. Okay, yeah, fine, yeah.
It's fine.
Is there anyone other than Taryn that can approve more than $2,000?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. I'm not on accounting or whatever, but I don't think so.
I did that process this week. I believe it's Linus, Yvonne, and Taryn. Or the above 2,000.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
What's my limit?
I was going to say, do you have to ask yourself what happens in that scenario?
I don't know. I don't. I want to know what my approval limit is.
If you tell me, I'll put it in our system like right now and then automate that.
Yeah, because oh man, I'm so excited for that, man. I'm so excited. I don't want to use a stupid form thing anymore.
I was gushing about it to Sammy. We did the Dan Daly's thing, and I ended up talking about it for 20 minutes. And he's like, "This should be another video. Can you shut up?"
So good.
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Hey, boss, you're live on the WAN show.
Hi.
Hi. Hi, how's it going?
Yeah. So do you have like 30 seconds?
Of course.
Yeah.
Is there
So
anything I shouldn't say?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
So
How was your trip?
yeah, trip was good. So Luke was mentioning that his approval limit for purchases is $2,000, and I was wondering, what's my approval limit? Like, at what point do I have to like talk to someone when we're buying something?
You ignore the approval matrix that we have, so I find out about stuff after the fact.
Got it. Okay, but I think based on my question, we could probably conclude that was out of ignorance, not malice, right?
It's out of ignorance, not malice. Basically, the ongoing theme that we have is we just need to communicate better as a company. So ultimately, you send the final checks and the final numbers and everything else. So YOLO, right? We just need to make sure that we're talking on a regular basis, just so that everybody's on the same page in terms of what's going on.
Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks, boss.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
That was a really good answer. So basically, you don't have an approval limit, just everyone has to work around you.
Okay. I mean, that's the way it's always been.
Yeah. You can tell it just like doesn't bother him. He's like, he's used to it.
Well, he knew what he signed up for.
Yeah.
I mean, he's known me for...
It's a very good answer, to be honest.
Dude, I've known Taryn for almost 20 years.
It makes sense.
That's crazy.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So like, I mean,
That's over half of yours.
he was working
That's wild.
as a senior in my department where I was a junior, when I would literally like not come into work because it snowed, thinking that work had like a snow day. Like to give you some idea of the level of greenness that I had when I joined the industry, when I joined the workforce. Essentially, Taryn was there, and then he was my boss a couple years later.
It's what's that Geico or whatever? What's that like insurance company? So and so was there.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure.
Tagline?
But like, yeah, like he saw me at my very worst, like had to give me like dressings down back when I would make like egregious mistakes of errors of judgment or whatever else. So yeah, like I said, he knew what he signed up for. I'm still me. I just run a company now and I have a lot more experience.
Yeah.
But I tend to be kind of a big picture guy. We did this management, we had some consultants come in and do like this kind of management course. And I found out what I've known my whole life, which is that I am a red personality type, which is that I am not overly concerned with details that I consider to be unimportant relative to making progress on the bigger picture objective.
I was a rare Pokemon. I was a red blue.
You were red blue. Yeah. Okay. Do you guys know that? Is this personality colors like a standardized thing?
Somewhat.
It's business Myers-Briggs, basically.
Yeah.
Here we go. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, could have told you that without an expensive consultant.
If I remember, there was different scales to them all, and you were like the furthest you could possibly go on red.
Me and one other person were
Jake.
there. Well, I wasn't.
Oh, well, he wouldn't mind.
Yeah, Jake wouldn't
He's
mind.
red enough.
I know. I mean, if anything, he would want me to say that he was further red, and I believe he was. I don't actually 100% remember, but he's a red boy.
Yeah.
Which is maybe why I've always had a bit of a soft spot for him. I see a lot of myself in him.
Yeah. By the way, eGadget Guy said make Luke's limit 10K. I don't actually mind the 2K thing because I actually don't think Taryn has ever not approved anything I've ever asked for. And it ends up just being like a way of informing him of major things that are going on.
That's the point of it. And that's why I wouldn't have asked for it to change.
And I've never asked for mine to raise.
Because people should communicate when they are making major purchases.
Yeah,
and
it's
I think,
a good primer to just have the conversation.
I think $2,000 is definitely a decent line over, this is just general day-to-day cost of doing business versus this is an expenditure.
I don't know what I would change it to if I wanted to change it, which is why I think it's always been fine.
Yeah,
it's also been like, I don't think he's ever denied any requests, but he's also like asked very reasonable questions, which which is completely fine. He's also not blindly approving, is what I would say.
Gorf in Floatplane Chat says about the color personalities, it's all horse shit. What I will say is part of the problem could be the administration of the evaluation, because looking around at people that I've known in some cases for 5 years, in some cases for 10 years. Yeah. Seems about right. Now, there's some confirmation bias there or whatever, obviously. Like or whatever, sampling bias or whatever.
If you feel like you want to be something, you could project it through your answers on the quiz.
Yep. But given most of us hadn't even like heard of it before we did the evaluation, and like anyone who was like playing, hey, what do you think so-and-so is, like nailed it.
Yeah.
It seems there seems to be some, I mean, at the end of the day, what the real lesson was not, memorizing the colors and what these things are. The whole point of it was that everyone's kind of different and everyone takes a different approach, and everybody needs different needs fulfilled in order to move forward together as a team. That was the main point.
I thought the goal of what they had in regards to explaining the communication stuff, which I'll do in a second, was actually really good, and I've used it to remind people of how we should do things. Dan's probably even heard me mention this probably recently. I think I did. Where it's like what their point was not so much necessarily to self-identify what you were, but to make educated guesses about what other people might be and tune your communication style to it. Like they explained to like the people in the blue category, give them lots of information and good documentation and like resources, hand it to them and they'll be happy.
And don't be super casual about it. Because they might treat that as you're not taking it seriously.
Yes. But red side,
don't waste my time.
Give them the really important information they need
and then
off. And then go away.
Yes.
And it's like,
and then go do it.
Yeah.
Right? Because nothing else really matters. Like, are we getting it done or not? I don't need a spreadsheet. I need action.
Red.
And that was my leadership style for a very long time. That doesn't mean that I'm not capable of communicating with people across the entire color spectrum or whatever. But in terms of where my natural residency is, it's definitely red.
But we had a conversation recently where we were working with another department, and I brought up like, hey, this department is X color. Like, work with them this way. Yeah. And there's like no way that almost everyone in that department wasn't kind of leaning towards the same type of communication preferences.
100% did.
Yeah.
I think I probably know what department you're talking about, because I think there's only one department that's like all one color.
Probably, yeah. And did it help?
Yeah, so looking back on, after like going back on conversations that I've had with either like executive teams or other teams, like I think Luke and I are quite aligned. I think extrovertedly, to use like the Myers-Briggs terms. And when I'm in meetings and I'm like explaining things and I'm like, answers, please, why is nobody talking to me? All of them have introverted thinking. And so all they are just like processing it in their head, and I'm feeling ignored and like an island. And it's kind of scary. But thinking back on it, they're paying attention and they understand, but they don't have to talk through like their process or brain goop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Super useful.
Anyways, okay, moving on.
Not saying it's the be all and end all.
No. No.
We're just saying it's been useful in some situations.
Yeah. It gets people talking about it, right?
At the very least, it's like try to analyze the type of person you're dealing with and tune your communication towards them if you need something from it. That's
and if
all
something
really
doesn't
means.
Work, try something else. Like that was a big part of it too, was just...
You might be wrong.
Like realistically...
Communicate your own needs as well.
Look, I was chatting with Yvonne about it after, and realistically, we could have run the workshop. Like...
Yeah.
We're both experienced managers and we've gone through a lot of this. But for a lot of members of the team where they didn't have this familiarity with working with people that have different communication styles and different ways of processing things, I think it was incredibly valuable.
We often hire, I don't know if I want to say inexperienced. We often hire people that haven't had career level jobs.
We're
elsewhere.
a really young company.
Yeah.
Overall.
So like there's some people in there that like had been, I know of at least one person that had been managing for 0 days when they first stepped in.
They had recently been
partway through the
like
project.
promoted to it.
Exactly. Yeah.
but had zero management experience. And
well, like they were promoted, as far as I know, it was like they had no direct reports yet, and it was the day they were promoted, and they just showed up. So like,
well, they should get the training, right?
Yeah,
Obviously,
it's all new stuff. Yeah. Anyways.
Sorry, reading Slack messages. First time getting a comment in live. I'm considering getting a Steam Deck, but I've heard rumors that an updated version is around the corner. Is it worth waiting?
I mean, an updated version of anything is always around the corner, depending on your definition of around the corner. I don't think Valve has confirmed anything with the current batch of Zen 5 APUs, and the scuttlebutt is that the Zen 6 APUs are not getting RDNA 4. If I was going to guess, I would say Valve would probably strike at Zen 7 RDNA 4, because and this is a complete guess on my part, because what they have said, what Valve has said is that they want a clear, like console level generational leap. They don't want to get into the habit of just like churning out Steam Deck models and having a complicated legacy product stack that they have to figure out how to support on all of these new OS updates. Like they want playable on Steam Deck messaging to be very clear. That means Steam Deck, and they don't want to be redoing that all the time, like Steam profiles. Like some games have the Steam settings profile built right into them, like Cyberpunk. They want to make it easier for game developers. I mean, they come from game development, theoretically. At some point, they did game development, right? So they want to do this in a way that's really friendly for game developers. So they have very clearly said they're not going to get into the same habits as someone like an Asus. Even Asus, actually, I mean, didn't do an updated, like the Ally X is just updated. It doesn't use a new processor. So if I had to guess, I would say Zen 7 RDNA 4, but I don't know that. I have no way of knowing that. Athos Lore says I have the OLED edition and it's great, and it really is. It's a beautiful machine.
Sorry. Last one I've got for you tonight. Linus, speaking of How to Train Your Dragon, have you seen the Isle of Berk section at the new Epic Universe Park at Universal Orlando?
I have not. I've never been to Universal Studios Orlando. It's really far for me. I believe Florida, like the tip of Florida, is the farthest point in Canada, US from here. Actually, is Newfoundland farther? I don't know. It's very, very far away, though. Extremely far away, like uncomfortably far. I would never just like hop on a plane and jump down there. Yeah. Hawaii. No, I'm pretty sure that Florida is farther from me than Hawaii. Hold on. Now there we go. Maps.google. What are these autocompletes? What is this? Look at this. This is hilarious. Oh, it's because I have an A in there. All right, fine.
I find this fact to be really fun.
Okay, no, here it is. What are these initial autocompletes? What is .cca? Is .cca thing is maps.google.comps? Like, is that a thing? What is this? Why would it autocomplete that? I mean, this is like a barely used profile for the WAN show.
These profiles are only used for WAN. That's weird.
I don't know.
There are distances within Canada that are further than Canada's border is to Europe.
Canada is really big.
Random fun fact.
How do I switch to the globe view?
There are like logistical decisions that have to be made sometimes where it's actually like cheaper to ship something to Europe than it is across Canada because Canada's so big.
This is really far though, especially when you factor in how much actually big this is and how much this is stretched out because of this view.
Top of the map.
Do you remember how to change it to globe? I can't remember.
Not sure.
Y'all want to remind me how to do that? Because, oh, dang, that didn't work. Well, whatever.
You just go to Google Earth.
Oh, okay, sure.
I think there's a way to get it in like actual map view as well instead of Google Earthing it.
Yeah, I think so.
But this
Get started. What is this?
What?
Just
Google
wanna
Earth
explore
seems
Earth.
to have changed. There we go.
Here we go.
Africa be actually really big.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's huge.
Yep.
You never realize how freaking massive it is until you see it on an actual globe.
Can I remove the clouds? That is actually not useful right now.
Is there a maybe under layers, bottom left?
There we go. Here we go.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so yeah, Vancouver to Florida.
Real far.
Actually, like ridiculously far.
Yeah, that flight sucks.
But maybe not farther than to Newfoundland. That looks pretty similar-ish. Newfoundland might be further.
Is it worth going
Farther,
up?
excuse me.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but what about Vancouver to the USA?
You mean America to America? That's a national flight.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you again next week. Same bad time, same bad channel.
I don't know. Bye.